Yo, looks like we are good to go. Welcome, one and all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the first of what should be many Overwatch League off-season live discussions. Hope everyone out in the chat is doing well today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, Owl Guy, got a haircut. Indeed. Luck in chat, Math, Owl Guy, Nate, Zol, or Zowel. Sorry if I mispronounced that. What's up, Fast? Sippos, Dylan. Hello to everyone. Hope everyone's doing great on this Wednesday. I'm doing good, Lunar. Lots of people pouring into chat. Good to see all of you. Trying to move some things around on my second monitor. All right. I'm from Connecticut, USA. Valiant cleaned house. Yeah, they once again did. What's up, Bake? The legend himself who brought the sign out. ATP represent over at the Overwatch League Grand Finals. You'll love to see it. So today what I figured we could do is have some fun talks. Call this Diamond Chat. Yo, Maddie, good to see you. Yes, rumor has it Spark could be going fully Chinese, true. Not ready for Soul to make roster moves while I'm asleep. I mean, who knows? So, I mean, I guess we can kind of leave it open. Where should we start? Because there is a lot happening within the Overwatch League right now. And, I mean, surely it's just going to keep ramping up and up. Some teams haven't even said anything yet. Free agency's in, like, 3 days. What's up, Pix? Like the new haircut? I appreciate it. Maybe Toronto? I cannot, Angus. I'm not allowed to by league rules. I better be seeing Becky as best echo, Monka W. How do I feel about the Dallas rumors? It's a little strange. I mean, for context, if you don't know the Dallas rumors, over to Mr. Halo of Thoughts. Multiple sources are indicating that the defending champs Dallas Fuel may be making a number of changes to their roster for next season. Share the clip of your sign. I can after, for sure. Go off of alphabetical with the available info. Yeah, I can do that. Or like something like that. Yeah, it's guaranteed Eternal are going to Las Vegas. Okay, so in terms of this Dallas thing, I mean, it really depends on what you want to make of it, right? A number of changes can mean a lot of things. It could mean that we're going to see, like, you know, like a huge core change in a way, but it could also be something a lot more minimal. They could just get rid of a couple of their guys, maybe not all of them. Obviously, it's a big blow either way. But I think the good thing is that Dallas are probably going to bring some of their guys back, at least. I don't think they're going to get rid of everybody. That's just seems unlikely. Their bench players, yeah, they'll probably be gone. I mean, Gurrio definitely. I mean, as much as like a interesting long-term piece as he can be, if you want to be a defending champ, you probably need someone better off your bench. And Doha, you could maybe get rid of as well. You could maybe find someone that's a bit better for like double hit scan situations to pair up with Edison. If Edison's even coming back, that is, you know. It's all just speculation at the end of the day, though. I think Dallas fans have to take with it what they will. Knowing Dallas and, you know, knowing their roster or their management, they're going to go all out and try and build a good roster still. I don't think they're going to be bad even if they make changes. I think that's a long shot. But something to keep an eye on for sure. What's up, Colin? Good to see you. Bird Ring to Dallas would be interesting. Where do I see Yaki going? There's a long range of possibilities. I wanted him to go to Toronto Defiant, but now I'm not so sure about that. It's a Yaki and where he could go is like a lot more interesting to me now. Because I thought Toronto was like a really ideal spot with Hisu and Twilight, but now, if you didn't know, they're gone. Twilight and Hisu are both gone from Toronto Defiant. So now you got to start thinking, like, which of these teams are actually investing in big time players? You know? Could it maybe be a team from the East? I mean, like, Philly already have Zest. The Spark, there's rumors they're going fully Chinese. Guangzhou Charge, maybe, I guess, but Choice A1's a thing. Soul of Profit, he's not going anywhere. Shanghai could be an interesting option for Yaki. I think that, especially with Fleta not coming back, that could be an intriguing option, him and Lip together. I think Yaki still has a lot to play for and to prove. He can be really, really good. But, man, it would suck to not have Fled on his prime on this team anymore. I mean, he obviously wasn't in his prime this year, but you kind of get the idea. Going from Fleta to Yaki, who needs to prove himself more, is a little strange. But Lip and Yaki could be pretty cool together, in theory. Yaki on a better team would most certainly pound, in my opinion. As a Defiant fan, I'm disappointed they keep changing rosters every year. Yeah, it's really tough. It makes me wonder what happened behind the scenes. Because from the sound of it, like from the way that like Hisu and Twilight kind of talked about it in their tweets, it didn't really seem like they had the greatest time. This is all Twilight had to say after being on the team for a year. Thank you for this year. One singular sentence is all he had to say about being on this team. That kind of tells a lot to me. Like, that's it. No heartfelt speech, just, oh, thanks. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Shu? Yeah, Shu is a huge name on the free agent market. If the Glads can't bring him back, that could be very significant. Like, there's a lot of teams that would be salivating at the mouth to get Shu. Like, Houston. Obviously, Glads would like to bring him back. Seoul Dynasty seems like a pretty good place for him. Philly Fusion. Shu could most certainly get some big bucks from another contender. Let it to Toronto. I mean, it depends on what Toronto wants to do. Right now, they technically still have Hotba and, Finale and Cho Wrong. Like, those are all guys that can come back. But with a new head coach, they might go more Western. We'll have to see what Casores is, comfortable with. Dallas, if they got Shu, that would be absurd. Any chance of Twilight to Houston? See, I don't know about that. We've seen Twilight play with some Western players, but I get the feeling he'd like to stick with a fully Korean team, maybe. And if Dante's going to continue to be the starting tank, I don't know how he's going to feel about that, per se. I don't really know. Do you think Aspen's going to get picked up? Probably not this year. I think the free agent market is way too stacked. A lot of people have gained their motivation to come back. So I think the competition is just too high for her. Atlanta Reign, Atlanta's always an interesting team. Sometimes I feel like they kind of come out of left field and make a huge signing. Kind of like when they got Pelican. So like maybe they make a big move and they like convince Yaki to come. Something along those lines. Atlanta is in a weird situation with flex DPS, though I don't really. It'd be best for Dante to stay on tank. Too many DPS players. True. I think Hoxel has a solid chance of getting picked up because he's always been a good player, but Bumper is a major question mark. Bumper hasn't played professionally since 2019. Even then, he had motivational question marks surrounding him. The cool thing for Bumper is he's played off and main tank before, so Overwatch 2 is maybe a bit more appealing for him, but it's been so long since he's played. Like, I would love for Bumper to come back, but I would not hold my breath for a Bumper return. I think it's a long shot. He has a lot to prove. If RUI signs with Spark and Lee follows him. See, now that I could genuinely see happening. There is a world, especially with the Hunters, budget situation. I could totally see a world where we have Leave and Shy on the same team, because the Spark tend to have a lot of money to spend. And then you have RUI, and you maybe keep Gushue if you want. I'm doing good, Rizu. Do you think Florida should aggressively push for Chio? I mean, obviously it'd be great to have him, but would Chio be comfortable playing in a mixed environment? I'm not so sure about that. I don't think, if Chio leaves Dallas, I don't think he's going to go to a lower tier team. If Chio doesn't sign back with Dallas, he's going to try and go for one of the top teams, for sure. I don't think Florida would be on his radar. What are Valiant cooking? That's a good question. LA Valiant released their whole entire roster again. I don't know if Wikipedia updated it. I believe so. Yeah. So Valiant released every single one of their players for the third straight year. Which is, like, really sad. Would I say I'm surprised? No. Not at all. It's the Valiant. And money-wise, I'd say that they probably are going to try and downgrade as much as humanly possible. I don't know if all of these guys were on minimum contracts per se, but my guess is the Valiant are going to look to push towards that minimum and, like, keep their roster smaller. Like, they don't have the money. They're poorly managed. At this point, I'm kind of in the thought process that until there's more investment in the Valiant and they change, like, management / ownership, that they're going to continue to switch teams every single season. Maybe that's just me, but that is where I currently lie with the Valiant. Is there any chance we're going to see Aunts? There's definitely a chance. Working fantasy app. I think there are some out there, just none that I promote personally. Yeah, Molly has played for so many APAC teams. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I'm sure Dante maybe knows some Korean. Some basic stuff. Who I think is going to replace Fleta in Shanghai. So I've not said anything yet. I think... What if the Dragons, like, got, like... I mean, it's not going to happen because the Shock are going to get him, but imagine Heesang going to Shanghai. That'd be pretty crazy. I think it'd be cool to see Yaki on Shanghai. Yeah, Molly speaks good Korean. In terms of these Valiant players who got dropped, I think a lot of them have potential. Obviously, I mean, take Haker out of the equation. That's a meme. But Dia was good this year when he played. Molly, I think, is very talented, and on a better team, they'll be able to shine more. Marvel seemed pretty decent this year. I don't really have any complaints about how he played. He showed pretty good flexibility. He still seems like a genuine tank option. EasyHan, I thought, was kind of underrated. His Sombra and Sojourn were pretty, magical at times when the Valiant were trying to get back on track and make a playoff push. Becky, really, really flexible. I think he's a bright young option that you could maybe get on a budget. And Innovation, while he didn't play much, was good in contenders back in the day. So, the only guys I don't expect to get any sort of chance is obviously Haker. I'm not the biggest fan of Langsa, and then Sashin is just a Zarya player. Kaluj to Toronto. That is a very strong possibility. Going back to his assistant coach, maybe Toronto want to go more Western. I could see it. Is Poco the most jacked out player we've had? I mean, he's up there. Kaluj is pretty jacked. Taker was on Fantasy Gaming. This guy is literally retired 3 times. That is unreal. Retired. Oh, mega lol. Yo, Keon, good to see you, dude. He's saying, I mean, if I'm a betting man, he's saying goes to San Francisco Shock. That's his academy team. You know, O2 Blast is the Shock Academy team. They need a flex DPS now. It's just all the stars are kind of aligning for Shock to get him as OP as that sounds. Yeah, Michael Jordan arc for sure. Toronto grabbing a bunch of Attack on... Or I almost just said Attack on Titan. Oh my god. American Tornado players would be kind of sick. I don't know if Valiant pick up anyone with the name. We're kind of just going from topic to topic, really. Luch to Outlaws, that would be a nice move. I could see a world where, like, if the Glads don't bring back Reiner, where Reiner and Kaluj end up going somewhere together. I believe they used to play with each other, for at least for a little bit. They kind of cover all of your tank needs between the two of them. A fresh start on a team that needs tanks could be pretty good for them. Like a Defiant reunion, or like a reunion between Kisores and Kaluj, and then you add Reiner in there, maybe get rid of Hotba. Max obviously goes to Shanghai, clueless. Sugar Free? I don't know if he's still playing. Probably not. The chances of Pelican leaving? I'd say it's 50-50. After Houston, did well, that might turn his opinion more in their favor. But again, I think he really wants to play with Piggy somewhere. That's just the feeling I get, that he wants to play with Piggy. How do I feel about Soul stealing Twilight? I think that's an ideal move for Soul. Soul are in a very interesting situation, because if Shu doesn't sign with Gladiators, Shu's on the table for them. You have Twilight, who's available now. Like, there's some big names that could go Soul's way and give them more star power. Like, man. Let me pitch you a Toronto roster. Kaluj, Reiner, Hydron, Speedily, Sam, OG, UV, and Crimzo. I'm interested why you put Crimzo in there, but I kind of like it. I think Defiant could probably go Western this year. Hat guy. Yeah, but there's also a chance that Piggy might not stay on Guangzhou. We don't know what's going on in the charge. They haven't said anything. And I mean, I don't know if it's a meme or not, but Guangzhou said they're holding open tryouts, right? And Piggy, had, a funny response. He just said, LOL to it. I don't know if he's memeing or if he's, mad about something. Oh, maybe he took it down. Oh, wait, no, here it is. He laughed at it. He just posted a laughing face emoji at the player recruitment that the Charge announced. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't know. Think Toronto can make a Western title contender team? Probably not. Toronto's not allowed to have nice things. That is the conclusion I've come to. Valiant should go all in for Bumper, Hoxel, Slack. See, I don't know if they... I'm really happy all these guys are back, these runaway players. But genuinely, I don't know if any of them outside of Hoxel is good enough to make OWL. Sadly. Slime, last he was in OWL on Florida, was not very good. I don't know how he's done in contenders recently. I haven't heard much. Bumper hasn't played in 4 years. Hoxel could be good enough, though, for sure. But there's no way any of them would go to the Valiant. The Valiant aren't spending any money at all. They're going to have the most minimum contracts in the history of minimum contracts. It's unfortunate that Genji's nerfed now, though. Birdring. I've heard a lot of people talk about if maybe Birdring goes to Soul if they don't bring back Fitz, which I am a fan of. I'd love to see Birdring back. I think Birdring is very talented. I think Birdring is still more than capable of being a dominant hit scan player, even with a year off. If anything, it might help him improve to take some time away. So I'm sure there's going to be some eyes on that dude. He is Birdring. Birdring is disgusting. Fitz is good, but I'll take Birdring over him all day long. But that's the thing we have to think about, though, with all of these soul Birdring things that people have been talking about. Birdring, I think, wanted to leave London to begin with early on after season 1. I think he was tired of living in the spotlight of Prophet, and if he plays with him again, he's going to get a similar mindset. So I think he's going to stay away from Prophet teams. That's just my opinion, though. You think Hydron will stay with Mayhem? For their sake, I hope so. I'm assuming they're going to renegotiate with him. He was a star player for them. I think you kind of need him back immediately. Boston full Western with Deepe head coach. That sounds promising. I think if Pre, the new manager of Boston, definitely could make a pitch to Deepe. And I mean, if you build around like Punk and Crimzone, a couple of other guys, you could have something there if you're Boston, I guess. It's not a horrible idea. Shanghai are not going to yoink the O2 Blast players. No shot. I think, yeah, we're going to see a lot of Western teams from open routes. Is Goomba still head coach? Correct. Does London re-sign Sparker? I'm going to say yes. I don't really see a world where Sparker plays anywhere else. He is a big home on London, you know. They depended on him. He gets along well with his teammates. I think he's kind of just testing the waters to see how much money he can get more than anything. Because, you know, his rookie deal's over now. He probably wants to secure the bag, which he rightfully deserves. So I'm sure once London is, like, offering him the right money, he'll be back there in no time. NYXL most certainly will be going Western, for sure. I think they're done being Korean, fully Korean. Or is Creative going to land? Maybe I'm one of those, like, weaker teams. I'm not the biggest Creative guy. I'm still not that sold on him. He was good on the Kiriko and Houston, you know, like, he has the Ana, but he's a little inconsistent with his hero pool. What supports do I think go to the Mayhem? Maybe they get OG and Ultraviolet, and then you bring Hydron back. That sounds like a play. I think Shocksign Bliss is main support. I think they're pretty happy with Violet, personally. The biggest surprise rookie besides Proper? Well, I mean, Proper wasn't exactly a surprise rookie. Alright, Owl Guy, sounds good. Thanks for hanging out. Moves I think Philly Fusion should make. They have to go all in and make a big pitch on some of the huge names in free agency. I want to see this team try and make a push for like Twilight or Shu. I want to see them start on the right foot. They need to make a huge pickup, a superstar to go along Zest and MN3 in order to attract more people to their roster. Philly need to go all in, I think. They've been getting second place and, you know, not performing more than enough throughout the years. So I think now's the time, especially with how big this free agency pool is. I really hope Uber comes back, Keon. Either Hanbin or Feelers are on a different team next year. That's a strong possibility. Former Fusion players, I'm not really that confident that any of them will find a new team, maybe besides Fury. Atlanta to lip the Titans. Atlanta Reign, I'd like to see them at least bring back some of the guys that, you know, they let go of, so to speak, that could come back. Because I think they could still build around that team. You don't have to bring everyone back that was in that goodbye post. But I'd like to at least see them give, like, OG and, like, Ultraviolet another chance. I think you're just wasting your potential if you don't give those guys another shot. Yo, Healing Boost, thank you for the 5. Philly buys someone's contract. That would be a power move if Philly did that. I would be all about that, man. Philly getting someone as their new tank. You don't have to worry about having 2 different options. You just go straight for one guy that can play everything. Sign me up. I doubt that'll happen, though. Someone is like Florida's guy, you know? Nice to dream, though. It is nice to dream. I don't know where that notification still doesn't come in. Interesting. Anyway. Billy buys whose contract? Why are you guys memeing with me? What DPS you think the Glads are looking to pick up? I mean, they're going to go all in on the biggest hit scan names in the market. You know? Anyone you can think of, they're probably offering a contract to them. Or at least giving them a pitch of some sort. I don't know if Animo would go to Philly. I think Philly want to make a big upgrade at main support. Animo's not bad, but you need something more. Bird Ring to Glads would be very fitting. There it is. Thank you again, Healing Boost.
Philly buys someone's contact.
Oh, wait. Hold up. No. There it is. Saved. If Define keeps Chorong, who else do you think will be the other support? I'm going to say they go for, like, a Western flex of some kind. Wouldn't be surprised to see them make an effort for, like, Ultraviolet, let's say. Decay to Glads, as if. Decay's a name to look out for, by the way, especially if Justice don't bring him back, which I'm assuming they won't. Because as much of a meme as he is, Decay is still a talented player. Is Don still in the league? No, he is not. I think a bunch of teams could probably make an offer for Decay. Will Mayhem keep Checkmate? It is confirmed they are keeping him. This is already confirmed. They picked up the options of someone, Checkmate, and RuPaul. I don't think there's anyone I'm missing, right? Just those guys. Albert. Albert, where are you? Yeah, here it is. Exercise team options of someone, Checkmate, and RuPaul. Animo and Majetter declined, not coming back. Hydron and Exy, 1-year deals, could come back in theory. Exy's a name to keep an eye on as well. I don't know if anyone will take a risk on him after, not being that relevant. He's still good and talented, though. I'm sure someone's going to give him a shot. Are going to pick up Leave Monk and Liege and went Hal next year. Exy back to Dallas, maybe Space? I don't know if he even wants to play still. He never posts anything. I don't... Space has been in the league for a while. He could retire, to be honest with you. Someone is a fantastic player. Needs more respect. What do you think the Houston team will be? I think it's going to be very similar to what you see now. I think you build around Dante, you're going to keep Merritt, and you're going to keep Lastro for sure. Pelican, I really don't know what'll happen with him. If you can bring him back, then fantastic, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But Merritt, Lastro, Dante, I think is a good place to start. But beyond that, Houston could go in a lot of directions. Do they want to stay Korean? Like they mostly did this year? Or do you think about going back in the other direction like we've seen in years past? Again, I keep bringing them up, but Ultraviolet OG could be in the market. No doubt. Leave to Spark will be terrific. Thank you again for the 2 healing boost. I appreciate it. Yeah, Leave to Spark would be absurd. If Leave played alongside Shy, I'd be terrified. Yo, Brandon. Hey, Keon. Thank you for the 5. If you're reading this, I hope you all have a splendid November. So wholesome. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, my November's been pretty good so far, though. Can't complain. Marvel to Outlaws? No, I think if Outlaws get a tank, they'll go a bit bigger.
Leave to Spark will be terrific.
Yeah, leaving Shy doesn't sound fair. I don't want to even imagine that.
If you're reading this, I hope you all have a splendid November.
Much OBS was acting funky for a sec. We back. Anyway, thoughts on the Shock. I think they're in a better place than most teams. Because they have an academy team full of riches. And they're also rich on top of that, as in they have money, so they're looking mighty good. Top tier. I mean, the Shock are to go for Max, and Max, I mean, most likely, I'd say, if they can. Max is, that's not the right Max. This one. 2 Maxes, lol. If they get their hands on this guy, that's huge. He's one of the biggest prospects on the market. He's insane. Yo, Math, thank you. A reminder, the 19th is going to be crazy. Yeah, that's when free agency starts. On the 19th, teams can officially make contract offers. Max is low-key giving me Roar vibes. Wow. Kaluge to Houston? I could see it. I could see Kaluge to Houston. That would make sense. Aspire King Kaluge UV OG Titans team? I never really thought about that, Griffin. That's not a terrible idea by Vancouver. I would love that. They could finally maybe at least be respectable. The Hog meta? I think it's great he's finally getting some kind of playtime. He's been irrelevant for so long. Yeah, Max, though, he's one of the top prospects. And considering he's on the Shock's Academy team and they got rid of their tank players, that signals to me he's coming on there.
A reminder, the 19th are gonna be crazy.
Thank you again, Math. Appreciate it. The only problem, though, with Max is I don't know exactly what he'd be able to do on the other tanks. Like, the off tanks, so to speak, he's fantastic at. But will he be enough on his own, or do the Shock consider picking up another guy to play Monkey and all that stuff? That's the real question. Also, his birthday is in, like, what, a week? Pog. Yeah, Lastrell's not a bad main support, but he also isn't the best either. I think Shock will look at anyone apart from O2 Blast players. Knowing them, they probably will. But I think they're going to primarily focus on their academy team, considering O2 Blast is the most dominant tier 2 team, and it's like not even close. I mean, for those of you who aren't aware of their history, they just win over and over and over and over again. Look at this. From May 2021 until now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 first places. I mean, if we're going off the major tournaments, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, they're ridiculous. No Titan signings so far. I reckon will be Shock's random NA player. This is the year I think they might not get a NA player. I won't lie to you. I think, especially with the dropping of their, Western assistant coach, and considering they got rid of their Western players, I think the Shock finally might just go all in on a fully Korean team. Yeah, London are in a decent shape. They kept most of their core. The Gladiators are in a very peculiar spot, and I'm a little scared for them. If they can't make the right pitches for their free agents, they're going to be screwed. They're going to have to go all in on new players, which is a horrifying thought. I mean, it's great that they have Kevster and Funny Astro still, but if you lose Shu, that's devastating. I could see Mikey going to a low-tier team, like a Vancouver, a Boston, a New York. Super or Gator to Toronto? I doubt it. Sue? I mean, insert any team that needs a hit scan here. Boston, maybe. Could go out to the East, but there aren't that many options for him, sadly. Hit scan suggestion for Defiant. The problem is I don't know what they're going to do right now. I'm having a very hard time deciphering if Toronto are going to stay mixed or if they're going to go Western. Because technically, they still have a couple of players, but there's also a chance those negotiations don't go through, and they could be left with absolutely nothing from square one. There's a chance Finale, Chorong, and Hoppa are all gone too. I'm not going to rule that out. And if that's the case, maybe they go Western. Maybe they pick up Hydron or something. I really don't know. How's no team contacted Spectra? Well, I'm sure teams have been. The issue is free agency doesn't start for 3 days. You have to keep that in mind. Teams aren't actually allowed to officially offer contracts and sign people until the 19th of November. So I'm sure while he's been getting eyes, he can't really say anything right now. Your source says mixed and they will comment English. Oh, really? You have a source? Or are you memeing with me? Do you think there will be any region switches this year? I'm going to say no. Are we getting ATP tokens for tuning into the stream? Sure. So if Dallas didn't get any of their players back and they all went to the same team, what do you think would happen? I mean, who would even be in a position to do that? Is Jonak coming back? I have not heard anything about Jonak. I've heard absolutely zero things about Jonak. He's been streaming somewhat frequently, but he doesn't really seem like he's in playing shape right now, so I'm not going to hold my breath and say Jonak comes back. I'd love for it to happen, but I don't really know if he's coming back. I also would like it if there was just one region. Washington? I'm still firmly of the belief Washington will get rid of everything they have. They're in negotiations with these guys, but something deep down tells me they're just going to like switch to a Western team. I can't shake the feeling. Jonak isn't coming back this year. He said on stream that his health isn't good enough. Well, there's your answer, chat. Shock signing Hanbin. That would be horrifying if the Shock got Hanbin. That's just not fair. Yaki to Gladiators? I don't think it makes sense. They have Kevster still. There is no reason to have Yaki on that team. Kevster's just better. I think they prefer Max anyways. Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, I think they're going to keep Violet at main support, personally. Unless they get Bliss, their Academy player, maybe, and then switch Violet to Flex again. Unless Violet said he's going back to Flex, which I don't think he did. Jock should get Hisu. That wouldn't be a bad pickup. Dallas keep their roster? I don't know. I feel like they'll keep most of them. But I don't think everyone's going to stay, which is going to be heartbreaking for Dallas fans, but that's kind of the world we live in. Ants, I don't know if he's made an LFT post. Is Finn staying at Shock? Yeah, for now at least. I'd love to see the Kev Bird Ring duo once again. That'd be sweet. Hoxel the Guangzhou Charge. Perhaps. What should Soul do? Get a new flex support, absolutely, and then consider your options at hit scan. My mic's cutting out a little bit. Rip. Let's see what I can do about that. Filters. That. I don't know if that'll help. We'll see. What's wrong with Iris? I think he's phenomenal. Well, it's not that he's a bad player. It's just, if Seoul want to win a championship, they need more. And considering who's on the market right now, I think Seoul need to go all in on one of the biggest names. You got to make a pitch for Twilight. You got to make a pitch for Shu. Why settle for Iris when you could have more, is what I'm saying. Like, go all in. Increase your chances of winning a championship. Drop it, lift duo, then Vindame Shu. Yeah, it'd be terrifying. Up to bingo. Fielder to Soul, yeah, that's another one. Twilight Fielder, Shu, there's a lot of options there. Shu to Spark, I wouldn't count on it. Rumor has it the Spark are going to be signing the former Hunters coach. And if that's the case, they're going to go Chinese. I really want Lip to Soul. I mean, yeah, they'd have to make a ginormous trade. Zero LFT, as in a player or a coach? Coach, okay. Someone to shock, I wouldn't count on it. Florida have him locked in for another season unless they trade him. Where do I get all these rumors from? The Halo of Thoughts himself. Roster reporter for many years within the scene. And while he's not correct on everything, a lot of the stuff that he does report on is correct. Definitely worth giving him a follow. Reckon Diem gets eyes? Yes, because he has the raw mechanical talent that you're gonna that you really want, you know? Remember when Ri Hong played tank? How can I forget? I love that Kasaurus is a head coach now. I love it. I think he deserves a shot. He's coached some very successful teams throughout his career. Atlanta in 2019 when they made a playoff push. He's on Shock. Like, he just has a good resume and he's very respectable. And I think it's a really solid thing to do. Toronto. Why would Dallas change anything? I mean, it's not up to them. All of their players are free agents. What can they do about that? You can try and re-sign them, but at the end of the day, if they don't want to come back, they don't want to come back, you know? It is 100% up to the former Dallas players if they want to stay on the team for another year. Money too, of course. Top 5 coaches in the league? I mean, you can't go wrong with, like, Krusty, Rush. Kobe, Coach Moon is always a shout. They, Junk Buck from Houston. Goomba is really good. Christopher. Super get back into Owl? I mean, I don't think he'll come back. Lip Profit or Shy Leave? That's a toughie. Probably Lip Profit, but by the slightest of margins. What should NY do? I think New York are going to go full rebuild. Western team style, where they maybe look for diamonds in the rough, or perhaps they make a push for some of these big names in the market. I just get the feeling they're finally going to do it. They're going to go Western, and they're going to see what they can do from there. I think it's time for some significant changes over there. Too many failed attempts in a row. I think they lucked into the team they had early on. It's clear their management needs some sort of refresher. Honestly, I'd like it if they changed their management altogether. I kind of would prefer if they got rid of Nugget. Although, to be fair, so long as he is the GM, they might continue to go Korean. Yes, indeed, I am streaming. I think Toronto's really going for the announced expensive trades. The announced expensive trades? Question mark. Any trade possibilities? As far as I'm aware, no, not right now. Early to say, especially why teams don't have anything. We don't even know who's being shopped. The shock roster? No, not really. There's not. I mean, everyone knows that they're going to go for their academy team players. That's pretty obvious. Which ones they secure, though, we'll see. Yeah, if Houston could keep Pelican, that would be ideal, to say the least. Body V bumper, that'd be insane. NYXL making a useless tweet that has nothing to do with their roster. Pog. Thank you, NYXL. Thank you. Very cool. I love getting notifications on my phone about stuff that's relevant. Thank you so much. Is Kevster Kai viable? Absolutely. If I had to make sole roster changes by heart, I'd sign Lip. Well, you mean trade for Lip. The Jay Fields, assistant coach, and Twilight is flex support. I mean, that all sounds dandy on paper. Leave? I want him to go to Spark. Really bad. Why would Shock need He saying if Proper is nuts? Just for extra versatility. Since Proper can play literally anything under the sun, you can have both of them in the roster at the same time in the starting lineup. That's just extra OP in your favor. Yo, Calvin, thank you for the 5.
I don't do this often, just wanted to say keep up the hard work, you do a lot for the OWL community.
Thank you so much, Calvin. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the 5, and I appreciate the kind words as well. Budget teams also go Western only. Can they compete? I think so. I think the league is starting to see more and more talent these days, and you could figure. Look at London, you know, like in Atlanta had a lot of Western players. Like, you can do it. You can still be good. You're probably not going to win the championship, but you can still be respectable. Absolutely. Is Kilo a starter? I think he's too inconsistent. I would like to see the Shock upgrade that position. What if Heesang wants to be the star of a team? Well, in that case, he'll go somewhere else. But considering all of his O2 Blast brethren are on Shock, I'd say there's a good chance he goes there. However, a promising opportunity on Shanghai could lie within him for sure. You know, they need a new starting flex DPS. They have Lip. They still could have Izzyaki and Leije gone if they decide to pick up those options. Like, woof, that could be dangerous. I think Edison very well could keep up his performance this year. Assassin? I'm not sure. Profit to Shanghai? No. He's staying with Seoul. Let it to Toronto. I mean, it depends on Toronto and what they do with their team. Again, considering who their new head coach is, I don't think they're going to have all Korean players. And I don't think Fleta wants to play in a team that's mixed, personally. I think Aspire should look for a better team. Depends on how free agency goes. If he can make a pitch to some of his former, you know, like American Tornado teammates, let's say, to come to Vancouver, then maybe you stay. Give it another shot. Proper bird ring DPS duo, that's mental. Luge to London? Highly doubt that. I wouldn't mind seeing Hisu on Shock. I'd be interested to see how Hisu could do on a team of that caliber. Sounds pretty scary. Punk to London. That'd be cool. Yeah, Punk's a big name to look out for in general, though. Be good on a mediocre Boston team. I don't know. Yeah, there was no, like, regular season draws. We just had, like, the tournament one that one time. Yaki Aspire? Probably not. Leave to London, Omega. Eternal will suck again? Probably. Yeah, no, the signings are going to come very soon. We're at the calm before the storm. I would love to see that, Thomas. I'd love that. I don't think so, Zell. I think there's so long as they're going to be ran by the management they have, they're not going to be Western. As long as they are Chinese managed, so to speak, they're going to stay how they are. LGE, that is. Yeah, someone please save Valiant. Not someone the player, as in just a person. Toronto American tornado. Canadian tornado. Can you imagine that? I wish Valiant would go to the West. Yeah, it's unfortunate, Robert, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, so to speak. Stream the 19th so we can just sit here with popcorn. That is not a bad idea. Maybe I'll do that. Like a free agency stream extravaganza. That doesn't sound like a bad idea at all. You know, Valiant will definitely snipe random gems. Charge, you look to keep what you have. And then go from there. You definitely want to maintain to start. Piggy Xerneas, Jimmy, Choice Wan's a good core. I don't know if there'll be a lot of announcements straight up on the 19th, but there's going to be some. I get the feeling. There will definitely be at least a few. Because, even though the you can't have contracts offered until the 19th, it doesn't mean that teams aren't, making pitches to players. So some guys could already have their minds made up for all we know. Chengdu, I don't know. I'm a little scared that Chengdu have no money whatsoever. Big announcements or small? Maybe both. Air switch to Vegas? I don't really like it, but what can you do? Yeah, no, Chinese contenders, I think the Spark and the Charge and the Hunters could all have a field day. How long is this offseason? We don't know quite yet. If I had to estimate, I'm going to say that the season starts in April this year, but I could be wrong. I think April would be ideal. This offseason is going to be shorter than the last one for sure. They don't have to worry about getting access to the game now, so I'm sure they could get everyone going by April. Earlier would be nice, but I'm not going to get my hope. Charge will be a top 5 team in 2023. I would not hold my breath. What else is there to talk? I somewhat addressed the Toronto thing. Toronto, I'm very disappointed in, chat. I don't know how much of a choice they had, but I'm still really sad. It's been a while since I've seen your videos. I just have a question on what happened to the KSP Dreamer game. Oh, no. You don't know, do you? They don't know, chat. They don't know. Oh, no, no, no. To kind of explain it, though, the Valiant changed management, so they released all of their players. They released that entire core that you know and love. All of them. Yeah, I'd like to see Khan in the league still. There's going to be the Prit of 2023. It's a fantastic question. Super posted? No, he did not. You're lying to me. No shot. Oh, he lied to me. Oh, you got baited? I was going to say, no way he ever comes back. Got baited. Rip. How long you plan on streaming? We'll see how we can go. Fake account. Perma ban him. I knew it wasn't true, though. There's no shot. Super's happy streaming. I don't think he'll ever come back. Anyway. Any news on any moves today. Not much has happened generally. Toronto Defiant did part ways with Although and Muse, as you can see. But it's been relatively quiet today overall. There's the whole Valiant stuff that went, on behind the scenes on other social media. Their entire team is gone now. That's basically it. So, it's Losi. Sorry if I butchered that. Thank you for the 10. Really hope London keeps Sparker for next year. Gold for damage. Trying to level up support, but playing that's difficult.
I really hope London keeps Spark for next year. BTW finally hit gold for damage. Trying to level up support but playing with no one else even in voice chat is difficult cause I can't ask for peel.
Yeah, true. I feel your pain there as a support main. Thank you again for the 10 though. I really appreciate that. Gator has a chance of finding a new team. I'm going to say no. Builder to Dragons? I mean, if they keep Izayaki, probably not. Is it time to change LA Glads? We'll see how the offseason goes. Yeah, Valiant are never going to keep their core until they, have more money to spend, I feel like. The player you really want back in the league? I mean, I really wanted Hoxel back in the league, and he's back. Birdwing is another guy I wanted back, and he's back too. It sucks. Like, most of the guys I wanted back are coming back. Moth. Yeah, that's true. Outlaws, I'd look to make, they gotta go for a power move at support, I'd say. They need a good flex support would be nice. You want another tank to help cover Dante's weaknesses, and then try and keep Pelican. Hold on to him for dear life. Most worried about? Gladiators. Gladiators is the team I am by far the most worried about in this offseason. I'm in Dallas, but Gladiators rank the top for me. I think that with all their free agents right now and how many changes are going on with all these different teams, the Glads could end up being sucked dry of the resources that they had. There's literally nothing they can do if their players decide to leave. Moth went on a journey to look for Snillo. Rip. Outlaws could actually get Bliss? Perhaps. Moth and Twilight reunion on Houston with Junk Buck? Don't hold your breath. Happy? There's a handful of teams Happy could go to. Florida if they don't keep Hydron. Toronto Defiant. Boston I wouldn't even rule out. Does Logix have a chance to join back into the league? I mean, certainly he's going to try. Guangzhou Charge could maybe get Happy. If he wants to be a backup, he could go to Philly, I guess. Doc should pick up Max and Bliss, but they don't need Heesang. Okay, so they don't need Heesang, but why let someone else have him? That's my thought process. I don't really watch a ton of contenders, no. Happy back to Guangzhou would be cool. It would be. Yeah, the tank market is very crazy. Most cursed player in team combination. If, like, Decay went back to Dallas, that'd be pretty cursed. Atlanta Reign? It'd be funny if they brought back Pelican somehow, Megalo. That'd never happen. Still on shock? Yes, he is. Papa for a third time on Philly? Yeah, that's pretty cursed. Mayhem main support? Hear me out. What if they get FD God? That'd be pretty cool. Rain Downfall starts next season. I mean, they're going to at least keep Kai and Hawk, which, isn't the worst. Striker, I think he'll find a new team somewhere. I'm trying to think in my mind what I want, what I think, not what I want, what I think this Defiant team will do. I'm so bummed out that they lost Twilight and Hisu, and now I'm like kind of just at a loss what they even consider doing. There's a chance none of the rest of these guys even stay. Kasaur's under coach, though. Maybe you get a nice Western team, right? Maybe you can keep Hoppa. He's been on a Western team in the past. Then you go from there. It's tough, man. It's really tough. Kasaurus and management have their eyes on. I can't see Rush anywhere but Dallas. I mean, it depends on how many guys that he loves coaching are still there after this year. Like, he absolutely adores coaching Sparkle and Hanbin and those guys, but if they end up leaving, then that might, stomp out his desire to return. Friends from World Cup. Yeah, I don't know if they do that. Pop off, you can pick up Kaluj. Probably not. But Hoppa's making it seem like he might stay. Hoppa, has he made an LFT, Hoppa? Or, well, not an LFT, like I'm negotiating with the team still kind of thing. Sad, being sad some more, retweeting a lot of LFTs. Sad more. Projected breakout players. I mean, Heesang is the big one. Heesang and Max from O2 are huge names, of course, that everyone's hyping up. I don't know who that is, Jack. Rocket. NA player, 17 years old. Will be 18 right in the start of April. EPS player. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know who he is. Really good tracer. Gotcha. Imagine if Decay goes back to Dallas. Yeah, that is one place he would never, ever go again. I promise you that. I promise you he is never going back there. What would it take for me to fall in love with another team? It's just everything's got to click the right way. It's got to make me feel the same way as the Valiant did back in the day. What if Toronto got Striker? I mean, it would make sense. Suarez has coached him before. I could see it. He also has a lot of experience with Western teams. Do you know Seawave? Yeah, I've heard of him. Hanbin to Dragons. It's a possibility. What team do you think did the most changes so far in the league? Insert any team that has released their whole roster and you have your answer. Valiant, NYXL, teams like that. Favorite support duo in the East? I'm a big fan of Lee Jae-gun and Izayaki if they stay in Shanghai. Hey, Challenger, good to see you. I'm doing well. Yeah, I don't think Hanbin would leave Dallas. In the London camp, yeah, I don't think I'd be a London fan. Probably not. I don't see myself being a London fan if I were to pick a team. They could sign Super Omega Lord. That's not going to happen. I think Florida should go full American Tornado with someone on tank. Perhaps. I mean, someone checkmate And RuPaul, they're all really good players. So I don't think they'd go full American Tornado, but they could get some of those guys. Again, maybe you could get OG and Ultraviolet on there. I think that's not the worst idea in the world. I remember last offseason, the Mayhem were actually interested in American Tornado players as well. They only managed to get Hydron, but this year they could maybe get more. An EU-only team, is that possible? I mean, London nearly had it. London were this close to having it, but then Provide, the drama happened with him. Toronto is surely going full American Tornado. We'll see. Does Myungbong make a return? I don't think so. He did not look promising this year. I doubt he'd ever get another shot. Wasted potential. Sparker, I think there's like a 90% chance he goes back to London Spitfire. It's hard to see him playing anywhere else. Ad block? What? Will Gator get picked up? Probably not. Sparkle to Shock. No, definitely not. Vulcan. I think he had his chance. Or what if he went back to NYXL? That'd be funny. London, Vestola, and Psycho? I think they're happy with Hottie as their one tank. Twilight to Outlaws. I've heard that from a lot of people. I think it makes sense. Former coach there that he played with on Shock, or he was coached by on Shock. It would make sense, but my feeling deep down is Twilight wants to go to maybe a team in the East. We'll see. I think Twilight to Seoul just makes way too much sense if they don't keep Iris. New to the channel, who's my favorite team? I don't have one. I used to be a Valiant fan for 3 years, and then their drama happened, and I wanted nothing to do with them. Any more news on Boston? No. Boston has absolutely nothing going on right now, and we are waiting to see what they will do. I have to say, though, deep down, I am a little excited about them. I think there's potential for some good things to happen. Nero, Florida? I could see that. So if you don't know Uprising's contract situation, it goes as follows. Everyone technically is a free agent, but they're in negotiations with everybody except for Faith, MCD, and Itzal. And if I'm Boston, I look to bring back Punk, maybe. I think you could build a core around Punk and Mag and Crimzo. I think that would be really solid, and then you convince a couple of other solid pieces, be it Korean or Western, to join, and Boston might finally be okay. If I'm them, I really try and bring back Punk. It seemed like they finally had an answer at tank with him this year, like he was the guy. So it would be a shame if he went somewhere else. Fearless very well could retire and be a storybook ending right off into the sunset, totally. Hydron technically could go back to Florida Mayhem, which I would say is probably the best place, but again, you have to look out for where a bunch of these American Tornado free agents want to sign, because there's a world where they could all go to the same team together. Like, let's say there's an opening where Vancouver could get, like, let's just say, like, Kaluge, Reiner, Hydron, like, Ultraviolet OG. Let's say that happens, like, I think if they had the chance to all play together in the league, they would. Or at least if some of them could play together. Hydron to Glads. I think Glads want to go with a more explosive option at hit scan. I like Hydron, but you want someone that's, like, big, Can't just settle for anyone. I think Glads need that serious upgrade there. Yeah, Leave to Spark is the theory we've been talking about. Are there any contender supports that are filling old talent shoes? Bliss from O2 Blast is like a big one. There's a couple of other names. Actually, this is the most scared I've ever been for Gladiators. I don't really know what's going to happen with them. I don't have an answer right now. It's tough. Bird Ring to Glads would be a nice start. I don't have an MVP pick quite yet. Too early. What teams have you talked about so far? Just about everybody, really. Yeah, Merritt is that kind of guy to me. Yeah, he's that guy. I don't know if Piggy even stays on the charge. For all we know, Pelican and Piggy could go some other team. When will the teams announce which players they signed? We'll see. Technically, they could start on the 19th, but they can take all the way up until, like mid-January. Yeah, same Glad's coaching still. Does Architect have a home? Probably not. Does the Outlaws trade Pelican? I think there's a chance. If Atlanta Reign don't get back the supports they have, I am scared for them. Maybe they'll look towards contenders again. Oh yeah, Pelican went to charge. They get rid of Choi Se-won, no question. No, Super did not LFT. It's a bait. What happened to Glads? Isn't just contracts expiring? Yeah. No, that's what I'm scared about though. That's why I'm scared for the Gladiators. Because yes, their players could come back, but they could also just straight up leave them. Maybe someone like Shu doesn't want to stay another year after all of the failures, and that'd be a huge blow for them. But these people can go anywhere they want to, which is not good for Glads. I think Space is going to retire, personally. Can we talk about the bad teams? Yeah, I did see the Kaiser LFT joke. It was funny. We did talk about Valiant before and how they're a mess. Chengdu are also kind of a mess to me. They don't have any money, so their team might explode. Eternal, I mean, I don't really know what they can do. They dropped a couple of people, so Eternal have some room to make some additions. They're probably going to stay with Western Contenders talent, if I had to take a guess. Maybe they could sign like one big name, but given their budget, I'm not going to count on it. They might just be the worst team in the league. We talked about New York. Probably going to, I'd say, go Western. Which low tier team do you think will have the biggest rise? I mean, I think Vancouver could see a jump, depending on what they can do. I like that they changed their management in Vancouver. They have Aspire there to maybe convince some other American Tornado players to join. I'm kind of digging where Vancouver's at. I think they might have something there finally. I do a video on Carpe's legacy. I mean, I did a news video on it. That's probably as far as I'll go. Where do you think Yaki will go? He's way too good for the bottom teams, in my opinion. Yaki, maybe Shanghai? Atlanta Reign? I mean, if Houston lose Pelican, Houston's an option. Pretty tough. Defiant maybe is still on the table. Washington, maybe. Boston. Oh, yeah, I was thinking of doing that, Calvin. Honestly, as brought up earlier in the stream, it might be fun on the 19th when free agency actually gets underway to just do a stream and react to things if they happen. Yaki to Seoul? I don't think so. They like profit too much. Yeah, we've been talking about Boston here and there. I was just actually looking at their contract statuses a few moments ago. And I'm firmly of the belief they should keep Punk, Mag, and Crimzo if at all possible. I don't want them to keep Valentine. I think Valentine's too mediocre. Release him like you did with Faith, and you go from there. Seeker might not be a bad person to keep as well. Spitfire contract situation? I can tell you about that, actually. They revealed, London, what is going on over there. We know Poco, Shax, and Khan are gone. We know that Sparker is currently in negotiations, but then they do have Backbone, Hottie, Landon, and Admiral locked up for at least one more season. So what matters for London here is they have their core, especially if they get Sparker back. Poco to Titans? Potentially. Fantasy draft with all the LFT players. We could be here all day. We could make like 12 teams. Thoughts on Max? One of the best prospects right now. I think Poco maybe has a chance of finding a team. Khan also has a lot of talent. I think Shaq's the problem is he lacks that flexibility factor. He's just there to play Tracer, really. The Fusion, like I was saying earlier in the stream, I want the Fusion to go all out. I want Philly to go big and sign a huge name in this free agency session. Get like Twilight. Convince Shu to come. Like someone like that. And that's when you could get the ball rolling. That's what's going to make people say, oh my God, we're all going to Philly. Screw it, man. We're going to win a championship in Philly. Look what they got over there, That's what they need. They just need to get the ball rolling with one big name, if at all possible. I also heard maybe, I heard people saying maybe Philly could get like Muse for the main tank purposes, which wouldn't be a horrible signing. He's young and has potential. I know that they're relocating. I'm assuming they're going to rebrand. Is Jinmu under contract? I don't know what any of the statuses of Chengdu are right now, to be honest with you. They've been very quiet. Unsurprisingly, they've been very, very quiet. Water chat been talking for an hour straight. Feifei said on stream the team is rebranding. Thought so. Thoughts on Shanghai doing Kellen, Yaki Lip, Lee Jae-gun is Yaki. I don't know about Kellen, but the other ones sound good. I don't know if Shanghai would want to take a risk. Like, I know Kellen's talented, but after what happened on New York, it might not be in their best interest, especially if they want to keep the core they have and go for another playoff run. Leave Lip duo. I mean, that'd be wild if it could work. I think Soul needs better flex support and hit scan. I mean, it depends on who you're talking to. Some people really like Fitz, others not as much. If I'm this dynasty, I'd like to see them get like one of the top tier hit scans. And then, someone like Twilight at flex support, but we'll see. Yeah, we need 3 more teams in the East, I agree. Fate to Houston? That doesn't really sound like a Fate move. I think Fate should find a team somewhere. I think Fate is just too much of a reliable veteran to not be in this league. He brings too much to the table, even if the game is changing. I think a lot of teams could benefit from his guidance, even if he's not always playing all the time. Like a Philly Fusion Fate signing. Guangzhou even. Like, there's options for him out there. It'd be funny if Fate went to like a top team. West. Carpe retired, so nowhere. Carpe is going to Valorant. I think Hoxel has a chance to make a team, but I'm not counting on Bumper. I don't think anyone could be better than Fitz not called Mara or Lip. I disagree. I like Fitz, but I don't think he's S tier. He was not an S tier hit scan this year, IMO. Kevster to London. I would not count on that. He is under contract with LA Gladiators. Rookies I'm looking forward to. Heesang is my number 1 by far. People always sleep on Fitz, best Sombra in the East. Fitz is good, but he's not... I think if Seoul want to win it all, they need something more. If someone are looking to win it all, I want to see them go all out on one of the best hit scans in the world. Tie to Spitfire, I mean, if they don't bring back Sparker, I could see it. Yeah, I do, DJE. I do. Ty is under contract, but I could see Atlanta Reign trading him, maybe. What should Houston get behind Dante? More supports. Convince Pelican to stay. There you go. Best hit scan free agents. Barker, Bird Ring, you know, people like that. Hydron's on the market. Happy's on the market. Happy's pretty good. Hisu. Edison's technically a free agent. Is it fair to say Bird Ring after he took a year off? In my opinion, yes. I think Bird Ring is still very capable. Reiner to Defiant, I could see it. I could really see it. I'm sure we'll see some pickups on the 19th. Yeah. Hydrod, Bird Ring, Kevster, DPS rotation. That'd be interesting. You think New York Excelsior will be good again? I would not count on it. I think they're in the process of starting a brand new journey. I know we've heard that before, but I really mean it. Yeah, I don't think Bird Ring would go to Seoul either. Rack Attack, I like him. Not bad. Happy is probably the best free agent hit skin. I don't know if I'd say the best. Hisu's really good too. The hit skin I could see realistically going to Seoul at any point soon as he seems to be staying at Shanghai. Trill. I don't really know if I kind of have this gut feeling Toronto won't keep anything personally. Yeah, Happy certainly at his most consistent season. Thoughts on although I don't think he's coming back. Fleta, he could go to a handful of teams. I'd like to say he stays in the East, but he doesn't have a lot of options. So we might see Fleta go into some new territory we've never seen before. Otto, oh my god. Gonna take that Chorong contract. I'm sure there's gonna be teams that would be interested in trading for him. Halo tweeted about Fleta announcing he's gonna go to Valorant soon. Is that so? I don't remember seeing anything like that. Where would that be? Results. Oh, it was a reply? Shoot. Where was this chat? When did he I'm curious now. It was Saturday? Oh, jeez. Saturday? The 12th? Going, keep going. I don't see it. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here it is. Waiting for Fleta now. Yeah, I'm expecting that to not take too longer either. Okay, so maybe he will be out of there. No, I'm not a F1 fan. I'm just looking through Halo's tweets. Favorite owl Twitter account? I don't know if I really have one. Bringing back Jake Junk would win them grand finals. I would not count on that. I think we might have touched base on just about everybody. Is there anyone I'm really missing that I wanted to bring up? We touched on Dallas. We kind of brought up Shock a little bit. I talked about my concerns for Gladiators. Ding and Youngjin, I don't think they go anywhere. Do a Barry style video of why a player didn't win in his prime? I might. EU players also rumored to switch to Valorant, and a lot of people were thinking it might be Kai. I could see it. I could see it. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it, Rylan? Would Shy go to a Western team? No, definitely not. Chengdu, I think, are about to blow up everything. I could be wrong, but I think given their money situation, I think we're going to see Chengdu go full-on transformation, and they're going to look towards contenders. I think they might try and, like, sell Leave. I mean, they almost sold Leave last year. It's just they ran out of time. Shy to Glad's definitely not. Where I think Khan is going to go. I could see Khan going to, like, a New York or a Vancouver or a Boston. They don't bring back Crimzo. Yeah, I think Chengdu will be bad this year. Yeah, now RUI's back, and he's going to probably go to the Spark. LOL. Charge moves? I don't know what they're doing with their team right now. It's hard to go off of Guangzhou when they've given me absolutely nothing. They haven't said they're getting rid of anybody. If I had to assume, maybe they'll, like, get rid of, like, Faraway or something, upgrade flex support. That's what I'd want Guangzhou to do, personally. I don't mind Faraway, but they could do a lot better. It's tough, though, oh my god, there he goes again.
Finally almost done work. I'd Kithil make it by the time you end, if not have a nice stream.
There it is. Penguin with the 50 bomb. Thank you so much, dude. Just came out of nowhere. It scared me. Wow. I haven't seen you in chat yet today, but thank you so much, Penguin, for the 50. You're insane, dude. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you, Penguin, the GOAT. Chengdu pick up Noah, and I think they still have a chance. Yeah, that could happen. Vancouver head coach predictions. Ooh. What's on the market? Which coaches are on the market? This rate, ATP's going to next year's grand finals. Get amazed. Right, chat, right. I'm still at work. Decide to make it a longer day. Ah, gotcha, Penguin. I appreciate you nonetheless, man. Get amazed to Vancouver would be pretty ideal. Imagine if he brings, like, FD God with him there or something. That'd be cool. I know technically he didn't coach FD God, but you get the idea. Not an owl, at least. Oh, I know he coached Team Peps then, so he has coached him before then, technically. There it is. Neat. Get Amazed is overrated. I think he's good. I thought he coached Team Peps. I didn't remember, though. I think Max and Hisane go to San Francisco. Oh yeah, if Super came back, he'd still be good enough. And do you think that teams would be interested in signing him? Just because he's marketable and he has won championships, yes. No, please not Changun. Anyone but Changun. No, please no. If you know me, you know that I'm not a fan of Changun. I do not want him on the Titans. No, thank you. Anybody else want to see someone, like, soon give it another shot? I think he's in Valorant, sadly. Changun is the biggest roller coaster ride of a coach ever, and I don't understand why people give him a chance. I just don't like him, chat. I'm sorry. Since I'm not in a video and I'm just doing a stream right now, I can put my biases out there and tell you I straight up do not like Changun as a coach. As a head coach, at least. Dude randomly gets these random finishes that are good, but then people forget that he was horrible in between in all these other places. It's so annoying. Like, what happened with the Spark mid-season was so ridiculously dumb, and it made me want to tear my hair out. They literally almost threw away a playoff spot. Almost. Like, he's lucked into so many things to me. Like, that Soul Grain Finals thing, come on. It's because of the meta. Lucky meta. This year at the Spark, lucky meta as well, because they were horrible until that meta came around. The London thing, I mean, that could have been good coaching, actually. It was a crazy turnaround, but you get the idea. Yeah, he coached the Spitfire. He is a champion. Coached GC Busan, won there. Coached London, won there. ADG, not a fan of him either. I do not want him on the Titans. Oh, really, Karibo? That's funny. Yeah, Changun is good every other year with his teams, and it makes zero sense. Yeah, New York are certainly in the market to sign American Tornado. I meme on New York and say they could be really bad, but if they actually sign some solid Western talent, they could be like an upcoming team that, like, at least is somewhat competitive. The issue with New York that I pointed out earlier that makes me think they might not actually go Western like I originally thought is the fact that their GM is Korean. That might mean they stay Korean. I mean, if I were them, I'd get rid of their GM because they've been horrible since their initial core went on. They literally lucked into that core, in my opinion, that they had with, like, SBB and all those guys. Oh, it's annoying. I really hope New York changed their management. Nugget is just not it. Do you think will do worse in the offseason? Which one will do the best? I think Shock are going to do really well just by getting O2 Blast players. In terms of the worst, I mean, Chengdu and Valiant are good shouts. And Perez. Hisu on Soul, maybe, but the problem is it's not really much of an upgrade over Fitz. If you're going to go all in, then you need to... If you're going to go all in on hit scan, it's got to be someone that's actually, like, truly better than Fitz. Like, Hisu and Fitz are comparable. You can say one or the other is better, but they're close. And you need someone that goes beyond them. At this point, it would be weird to see alexyOWL not have a Korean team exactly, but I think they should. Valiant also dropped their Chinese players, so they have 0 people right now. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Valiant literally have nothing, and they're probably going to suck. What team I'm most excited for this offseason? Again, probably San Francisco Shock. Because they have OP prospects on the way, most likely. Spark also have an exciting offseason ahead of them potentially as well. If they could, like, sign Leave, that'd be ridiculous. I get the feeling Chengdu won't have him anymore, so yeah. Yeah, was intending to stay on the Valiant. I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was, but he didn't have much of a choice because the Valiant have no money and they're poorly ran. That's the Valiant for you, ladies and gentlemen. They suck. And that used to be my team a couple years ago. How times have changed. How times have changed. Yeah, I'd be sick to do another collab with the Shock. Dallas probably won't have everybody again. I think they'll get most of their guys back, but I'm going to go out and predict that at least one key Dallas player doesn't return. Valiant should just straight up not even be a team anymore. We'd be better off with 19 teams in the league, honestly. For those guys. Fearless to Boston. Could you imagine? I do not have a team. I just can't do it. No one really resonates with me the same way as Valiant did back in the day. It's unfortunate. Justice, yeah, I fully see them getting new coaches all around. Your wild prediction is some team is going to take a chance on Bumper and Hoxel. That would be wild. I don't think anyone's going to get Bumper, though. It's just my opinion. I want him back, but it won't happen. Are they Mac? I'm not so sure. I heard LG is still in charge. But I could be wrong. I mean, it's not like they ever say anything. I'm from Connecticut, USA, math. Favorite DPS player of all time? Agilities. Oxel to Shanghai would actually make sense. I asked you about Kasaurus in the comments in your last video, but I want your deeper analysis on it, please and thank you. Generally, I like Kasaurus. I thought he was very successful for most of his career. I like him, and I think that him on Toronto is smart. He deserves a shot at being a head coach. And I think Toronto needed a better coach. He really fits the bill. So I am happy with that signing. Merritt stay with Houston? I'd say probably. I think also another thing with Bumper is he's very flexible. People forget he played off-tank before. So. Bumper in theory, I mean, if he could get back to prime form, could be an okay tank, but that's in theory. We're playing theoreticals. I like Reiner. I really want to see Reiner and Kaluj on the same team. Reiner, Kaluj, Hydron, Ultraviolet, OG. Make it happen. Yeah, Bumper played literally everything on Runaway. It's insane. Played main support. Reinforce hinted that whoever signs American Tornado's head coach would probably get the American Tornado roster. Oh, do you mean, what's his name? Escaping me. Oh god, what's his name? Wheats? Is that who I'm thinking of? It is who I'm thinking of. Pog. Yeah, I want to see Wheats get back into the league. I mean, look, how is this man already not back in the league? First. Look at all these first places. Hello? Second. Jeez, man. Look at all these, like, top 3 or better finishes. This man's a W machine. Since he left Vancouver, it's just been nothing but W's for this guy. Am I surprised they kept Kilo? No, just because he is O2 Blast affiliated. OG and UV and Kaluch to Houston, that'd be pretty dope. He's a great player manager as well, which is criminally underrated in the league. Absolutely. Ball of what now? Yeah, no. Wheats was in an unlucky situation when Vancouver were literally at their lowest. The Connecticut Farmers joining the league in 2024. Yeah, I think Wheat's on one of these teams with a coaching vacancy like Boston. Maybe goes to Boston and Boston gets that American Tornado core. That'd be pretty sick. And then like maybe you add in Crimzo and Punk. That'd be pretty sweet. Halo with the worst tweet of all time just now. What did he say? Oh, was it a reply maybe? No, I don't see anything. Anyway. Spylo, yeah, he's pretty good. He deleted it? Rip. Was it really that bad? Jeez. My lord. Favorite coach? I love Krusty. I'm a big Krusty supporter. Yeah, what did Halo say? What Halo and having bad takes, name a better duo. Excited for Ramatra? Yeah, of course. Very excited for that. Halo did put out on a free agency, but deleted it. So yeah, they're probably still in negotiations. See, I know he's a Valiant guy, but what he did in Season 2 is unforgivable. That's why I don't like Moon. What he did in 2019 made me so angry. I hope they nerf Sojourn eventually. I lost my mind when Coach Moon said that he was keeping Custa on the bench because he's too smart. That made me want to slap myself in the face. Who in their right mind says that as to why you're benching a player, when that's clearly not the reason why? And like all the other random things, like his obsession with putting Kareev back on DPS, he did it 2 different times. Like, it's so annoying. And then he goes to Shanghai and wins a title with them. Like, okay, dude, whatever. That's fine. Now you want to start coaching, smart again after you leave my team? It's unreal. I'm still salty about it to this day. I'm not that long into OWL. What happened to Valiant? What exactly do you mean, Hitman? You have to be a bit more specific than that. I was wondering why Moon didn't bench Lip this year, since he's obviously too smart for them. Reeve Widow was pretty pog, I won't lie. Yeah, Krusty's never won Coach of the Year, and it depresses me. D-Pay to Atlanta. D-Pay is a guy to look out for. D-Pay could go to, not Vancouver, because they got rid of him. If NYXL were to go Western, he could go to New York. D-Pay could go to Boston. I think a good pitch by Pre to bring in D-Pay would be nice. There's also a chance D-Pay could be an assistant, though. He did not rule that out. Could you imagine if D-Pay becomes an assistant on, like, Atlanta or Houston or, like, Defiant? Any of these teams. Florida, even. D-Pay's a difference maker, man. Not my favorite coach in the world, but he showed us what he could do with Titans this year. D-Pay to Valiant? Yeah, no. What happened to Valiant so they're not your favorite team anymore? Okay, so basically to sum up why they're not my favorite team anymore, in 2020, or not in 2020, excuse me, in 2021, going into the 2021 season, they're supposed to have a roster I was really fond of. They built on their 2020 core, things were looking exciting. They even signed back my favorite player ever, Agilities, and then they released all of them because they changed management and they went to China, and like, it was really scummy how they handled the situation. They said that they were not going to be making any moves. Like, they said they're not going to China or any of these things on their official social media and lied to everyone's faces after the reports came out. And at that point, I had enough. Like, it was the second time they're changing their team. Like, I'm done. This is too scummy. I hate what the Immortals are doing. Horrible owners. I hate them. So yeah, they betrayed my trust. They went from my favorite org and my favorite team to me wanting nothing to do with them. What do you think Vancouver should do at main support? IMO. Vancouver should try and get OG and Ultraviolet combo. Feel bad for Yaki. Imagine playing extraordinarily good almost every single game and still losing. I mean, that's how it goes. But now he's free. Yaki is free. Go to lots of places. Yeah, me too, Lil. I mean, I just don't like the way New York are run. The way they're ran is really frustrating. They don't seem very competent over there. I'd love to support my somewhat local team, but I just can't. Yeah, poor Adam, he got screwed. Office picking mushrooms with Snillo. Where does creative go to? I feel like Washington State Korean, maybe they could go there and they get rid of like Krillin or whatever. Creative could maybe go to Guangzhou, Philly. I don't know if Shockwave will be back in Owl. I think there's a good chance he will be. I think there's going to be a couple of teams that have interest in him. London Spitfire would be a cool signing, I think. I was going to go to the second NYXL homestand in May, but then COVID happened. I did not go to the first one. I did see that 2U put out an LFT tweet. I did. The Shock are going to just pick up their academy players, I think. I don't think Spark are going to go mixed. If the rumor comes true of them picking up RUI, former coach of the Hunters, they'll go Chinese for sure. They won't have any Korean players left. They'll probably bench them or they'll trade them. I'm not the biggest creative fan either. He had a good Kiriko. His Ana's good, but he's not the most flexible. Yeah, I think Birdring gets another chance. There's a good chance he goes back to LA Gladiators. I think Teru, if he gets picked up, will be on a lower end team. Alpha Yi also could go to a lower end team. Atlanta Ray need to focus on getting their stuff together, because they have pretty much nothing right now. It'd be cool to see them get back some of the guys they had and then improve with some other former like American Tornado players. I have no idea what's going on with Shanghai and Lip. Krillin low-key looks like a paintbrush. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Can you talk about the O2 Blast players that come to the Shock? I mean, yeah, we could briefly go over it. The big guys are Max and Heesang. Those are guys that have a solid chance of landing in San Francisco. They're two of the biggest prospects on the market. Heesang is like a premier flex DPS player. Similar hero pool to Proper, but I think they could make it work, to be honest. Flexible. This guy could be a superstar in the league. And then Max is probably the most hyped up tank prospect. I won't even lie to you. Max on San Francisco could be pretty nutty. They might need something else other than him, but, you know, he's going to be good on the things he's known for, like Hog, Sig, D.Va Zarya. The last two hyped up tank prospects didn't work out. In theory, though, that means that we're overdue for one to hit. They need a hard hit scan more than he's saying. I mean, we say that, but I wouldn't doubt it if they figure it out, because they're the Shock. Hyper turn 18. June. Yeah, if they got Max, they need someone else. In my opinion. Yeah, I kind of agree, Ace. I think Shock will sign a main support. I feel like they like Violet. Maybe it's just me, but I think they like Violet and what he's doing. Cool. No one has any announcements for me. Epic. Aiden, I heard he is very serviceable. Is Aiden on O2? I don't think so, right? No, he's not anymore. No, he's never. Yeah, he was on O2. I remember. Um, yeah, I heard he's good. How old? He's 17, 18 in April. His birthday, fun fact, is one day after mine. Yeah, Violet was solid. I like him on main support. I don't think he's a problem. Violet was not as good as before. I mean, that's to be expected. Violet has been on the Shock since 2019. I think Violet's Lucio's above average. It's not, god tier, but it's good. If the Shock were to sign any vet rather than purely O2 Blast players, who do you think it is? Wouldn't it be funny if they got, like, Bird Ring? ATP, can Outlaws win a chip with Lastra main support? I'm going to say no. I felt like he was struggling during those last couple of playoff games. Yeah, Violet charges up beat mad fast. Yeah, I think Striker finds a new team. Bumper, I wouldn't count on that. Defiant roster. As I've said multiple times, I have no clue what they're doing. I feel like they're going to go Western or mixed. What's a team that is long overdue to win a championship? I mean, there's a lot. Gladiators for failing over and over again. They always build these successful teams, but never actually make it. Seoul are overdue. Philly are overdue. I mean, Philly especially, right? After all their shortcomings. Yeah. Seoul was only ever good for this past season. I mean, 2020, they literally went to the finals, so. They've always had high expectations throughout their entire existence. Who's the best player in Contenders that isn't from O2? Oh, boy. Asking me a question I don't know the answer to. Epic. I don't know Contenders that well. 2020, they weren't good outside of the playoffs, but they still made the finals regardless. They still made the finals and took 2 maps off the Shock. And that's what people remember, sadly. All the other nonsense doesn't matter. You almost won a championship, you almost won a championship. Yeah, Philly's going to go hard, I think, this offseason. It's now or never. You have your ideal DPS players, at least in their eyes, and now, boom. It's time to go all out, get a big name support, get a big name tank. Philly will get a combination, in my opinion. They're going to search the market. I think maybe you could see them land like a big name flex support. Maybe they go young at main support, let's say, or a tank. I think they'll do a combo. Because you need veteranship, you need veteran leadership, but also young talent. I think the Titans could be good next year. I think so too. Especially if they manage to like keep Aspire and then, maybe get a couple of American Tornado guys. No, I don't think Who Are You finds a team. Only a Genji player. And now that Genji's nerfed, why would you want him? Could Ben Best get back into the league? Sure he could. Do I think he will? No. Isu back to Philly would be interesting. Swap between him and MN3, I could see it. He was the best Genji, but he only played Genji. Oh yeah, I forgot False is on Vancouver. All right, sounds good, Luck. Thanks for hanging out, as always. Apparently, I don't share a birthday with any OWL player. I don't know if there's any Overwatch players in particular, like just normal Overwatch players, but I know there's no OWL players that share a birthday with me, sadly. I think there's a solid chance we could see Soul change up hit scan. Fitz has been there as much as like Fitz is like a good player. He has been there since 2019. It's a long time. Yo, welcome to the stream. Yo, Thor, what's up, dude? Share a birthday with Fearless. Yes, 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 you do. How many more years do you think Prophet has? I think Prophet is one of those guys who can play for us literally as long as he wants to. I think Vancouver might focus on Western talent this year. That's my opinion, because a lot of teams are focusing on Western. That's like the rumor, at least. Like, I would not be surprised if a ton of like the non like top NA teams go Western, like Toronto, Boston, Florida. Well, like London are already Western. Atlanta could be just full Western, no Venom. Vancouver could do it. New York. I think we're on the verge of seeing a lot of Western teams in the West, which I guess makes sense. Western teams in the West. You get the idea, though. Talked about Atlanta? I have. Super is the best Genji of all time? Yeah, true, true, true. I think Mayhem keep Goomba. They have no reason not to. Yeah, I think the West is going to look a lot different this year. And outside of, like, these teams here, like Florida, there's going to be a lot less Korean talent, I think, in this region. Decay? Decay could maybe go to, like... Okay, does Decay want to only be on a Korean team, though? That's the question. Because if that's the case, I could see him going to Philly or Shanghai, maybe. I guess in theory, you can't roll out Seoul either. How are the Glads doing this offseason? They currently have nothing on their team, basically. So, they gotta try and convince their free agents to come back. As you can see here. They have 2 players under contract currently, so we'll see. We will see. I'd expect at least some of their free agents to come back, but you never know. You never know who's going to pitch something big to Shu or to, like, you know, Reiner. Sparkle and Decay in the same team. That'd be crazy. I think a lot of Korean talent is insanely overhyped. I wouldn't say insanely overhyped, but I get what you mean. Toronto, I think they're going to go mixed or Western. I think Space is going to retire, but that's just my opinion. The Spitfire coach was born one day after you. Nice. Top 5 DPS of all time? I'm not sure about that. He hasn't won anything. Could Shu or Twilight go to Seoul? Yes, no doubt. What people need to realize, I know Seoul haven't really won anything, but what people need to realize is most Korean players are going to want to potentially play in Seoul. It's just, it's such a desirable place to play. You're literally in your country, representing your country. Like, Seoul is just a huge landing spot. So, and they tend to have money to spend on big names. Seoul right now still have all of their players. They haven't announced anything. Yo, what's up, Hogs? Smurf and Twilight reunion? Perhaps. They well together? Maybe. Something malicious brewing? We'll see. Still, budget isn't big. They only had 6 players. I mean, I guess. But on the other hand, maybe they'll just have more money because they're sold. You know, they tend to make big signings every year. Arnold said they wish they could have signed more people if they could have. Maybe this year will be different. Now needs to expand again. I wish they'd expand, but it's not going to happen. My birthday's the 8th of April. Biomolecule. Any big news for APAC? Not really. It's been quiet the last couple days. Since the Spark stuff happened, there hasn't really been anything from the East. And the Valiant released their roster, but that's like to be expected. I definitely hope so, Eden. Yeah, Toronto are kind of a mess. Now that they have new coaching, they're gonna just blow it up. Well, I mean, if Profit can convince Smurf to come on for cheap, then why couldn't he do the same for another guy? Can't believe they didn't keep Dia. I mean, I can. It's the Valiant. Shot in the dark Pred of who will be the best team next year. I'd say Shock are probably the best shout right now. They seem the most whole, the most complete. So I'm going to say Shock. I think Toronto are probably going to go full Western, in my opinion. You know, you can avoid visa issues like you did with Although. You know, you have a Western coach now. Toronto, I don't really know with them. It's a lot of teams are in a very complicated spot where it feels like they could do one thing or the other, but I don't know, man. If Roger gets signed, what? What did Kaluch say on stream? What happened with Spark? They released Architect, Bernard, and Taro, and their entire coaching staff. I don't know if Creative will have that many options. I think Flex Support's just really stacked. This is the 5th Toronto rebuild. Yeah, it's true. Fate and Fleta. I've heard Fleta might leave Overwatch League. That's the rumor, at least, according to chat. And then Fate, I think, has his options because he's a reliable veteran. I mean, if any teams in the West are still willing to sign Korean talent, there's a lot of guys that could pick him up for sure. Philly should collaborate with Bad Pachimari. True. Edison to Defiant. I'm not going to count on that. I feel like Defiant go all in on Western players. I mean, I'd be disappointed in them too. You finally had a core, and now it's gone. It seems like Twilight and Hisu did not want anything to do with them anymore. Yeah, it's unfortunate with Jonek. Yaki to Glads. With Kevster, I don't think so. No, I don't think Dante will retire. I thought maybe he would at the end of this year, but after getting a taste of almost making grand finals, I think he'll be motivated to stay at least one more year. The Titans will most certainly not bring back Hoxel, Twilight, or Bumper. No shot. Toronto always spend a lot of money, though, so that's the thing. They could spend big on, like, talented guys that aren't Korean. They could still be good. Again, I really like their coaching situation. So, you never know. Animo, I believe, is LFT, if I remember correctly. Luge earlier on a stream to Hydron, Speedily, and OG. I'll talk to Big Boss Cass and make sure the talks go somewhere securing you guys. That's not a leak because they think I'm baiting. Hydron, you can't just cover every leak saying it's bait, man. Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, that's probably just a meme, but it could be something, I guess. I mean, would I be surprised if some of those guys go to Toronto? Absolutely not. I could totally see Kaluch going to Toronto. Oh, it's the clip bait. Bait, rip. Okay, then. So they did not say anything in that clip. The bait account? What is this? Okay, yeah, this is just absolute bait. This is bait to the maximum. Nice. Cool. Anyway, I still think some of those guys could go to Toronto. Oh, is this the fake super tweet? Yep, there it is. Person follows me too. I wonder how many people fell for this today. Willing to bet lots. Imagine if they went through the trouble of like getting like the verified check mark too. I know it's not the same thing as what Super has, but still. I want everyone that we have to stay, hopefully, Keon. 3 impressions. Where does Crimzo go? I think Crimzo's going to have a good selection. He's kind of an underrated player. I think Boston is worth a shout, especially now that they have different management. Defiant, totally, he could go there. Atlanta Rain is now a shout if they don't bring Ultraviolet back. Could I maybe see him going back to Houston? Yeah, but probably not. Could go to Vancouver. I think Crimzo has his options available to him. What hopes do you have for the next season? For the league to continue to grow. Best player from every country video? Oh, dear lord. Yeah, that's kind of my thought process, Enrique. Hans LFT. I haven't heard anything from him. Doesn't look like he has said anything. So right now, I'd say he's probably not LFT. Yeah, I don't think like picking players for a lot of these countries would be a problem. It's more so the length. I feel like I'd be there all day. Gotta head out. All right, sounds good, Keon. Yeah, Hogs, I'm gonna say that they're good looking to trade the rest of their guys that they. My big opinion on Defiant is they're gonna go for people who are like associated with Casores, you know, maybe Kaluj, former Shock guy, and that in turn could bring some other guys as well over there that Kaluj knows. I know that the bait tweet we just saw before is bait, but I could actually see that happening, like unironically. Question, Bake. Yeah, trades are hard to do, but money talks. We've seen a lot of trades happen just with money. Money talks. Especially in a league that's hard to invest in. Violet 2 Defiant. Yeah, I could see it. No, I don't think Architect has any sort of shot anymore. He was not starting caliber this year, and I just don't think he can keep up anymore. He's not the player he once was. Unfortunately. Kaluge and Striker to Defiant. I don't know about Striker, but Kaluge I could see. Although, to be fair, Striker was under Kasaurus before, but I don't know. I think Striker wants to go to a Korean team. Any streamer who can join OWL? Probably not. No, I think Rascal's pretty happy coaching. Yeah, Architect would really have to prove himself again if he wants. Ants isn't even LFT right now, so I'm not going to assume that he's looking for a team. Striker Lip duo. The only problem is, does Shanghai want Striker just to probably mostly play like Tracer and a couple of other things? I don't know. Diem to Seoul? I don't know if Diem would go to Seoul. Maybe like a lower end team. Because it has been a while since we've seen Diem in the league. I hope Gargoyle finds a new team. I'm hyped that he's trying again. There a way in which Shock doesn't win 2023? Of course. There's always a chance something could happen. Never know. We say this team's going to be good for sure, but sometimes collapses happen. Or, you don't deliver up to expectations completely. It happens. For me, best improvement comes from Hottie. I'd be sick if Diem was on Philly for Carpe. Can Gasaurus speak Korean? I don't know. What do you think are the odds of San Francisco Shock winning if they just take some O2 Blast players? I mean, they'd have a great chance. I think Seoul would pick up Jonek if he wanted to come back to the league. I mean, if Jonek suddenly was healthy, which he's not, that'd be cool. I could see him going to Seoul. What if Pine becomes a coach? I doubt Pine would ever become a coach. I'm gonna hear the Dog's hot takes. Dog to Houston. Instead of Doge, they go from Doge to Dog. Glad you like them, Math. You can thank Thor. Thor made them. I think Mikey, after how he played in playoffs, could definitely find a team, especially grand finals. Those lower end teams, you could really, really make a good case for Mikey. Where did Mikey play again? I don't remember where Mikey played. It's not American Tornado, no. Didn't think so. Mikey on Eternal? Maybe. Attempt open division for the Wolves? Definitely not. Outlaws Mag would be sweet. Mag and Piggy, that's something to think about. Mag and Piggy have a good relationship. Maybe they could be on a team together and split playtime. What if Mag, Piggy, and Pelican all went to the same team together? I think some people just didn't know. Like, I didn't know that Junbin didn't turn 18 for a while still. I assumed that he was going to be 18, but he doesn't turn 18 until next year. I was not aware of that. So part of it's my fault, I guess. Sadly. Misinformation, Pepe hands. Didn't realize he was so young still. Is Hisu LFT? Absolutely yes. I don't think Mag is going to get good offers from great teams. We'll see. I think at least some mid-table teams. I expect Mag and Muse to both find new teams. They have too much potential. No, Super's not coming back. I think Mag could get some looks from a lot of teams that might surprise you. I could see Mag going to Philly. Honestly. Like, again, imagine Mag on Guangzhou with Piggy. That'd be cool. Like, yeah, you'd expect the top dogs to not offer him something. But I think Mag is going to find a home somewhere. Houston? Maybe? I don't know. I think Nero will find a new team. I feel like people like Nero a lot, so I'm going to say yes. Especially if a lot of teams are going Western. I think that opens up a lot of doors for Nero. Be it Boston, like Vancouver. I don't think he's going to go on a good team, though. I'll say that much. I don't think he'll be on someone better than Atlanta Reign this year. No, I don't see Nero to Houston. I think Nero's like a mid-tier option for a mid-tier team. My prediction of the Guangzhou Charge, I think they're going to maybe look to get a better flex support and then like get another DPS player. I don't think Bumper has a place. I want him to be back in the league, but it's hard to justify that he has a place after not being here for a lot of years. You know, the competition around him getting better and all that good stuff. Oh, yeah, classic. Don't forget this chat. Don't get mad at the social media manager. They're just doing their jobs. Or in the Valiant's case, they don't do their job. Pepe laugh. Most handsome owl player right now? Oh, that's a good one. That's a great question. I believe Shax right now doesn't even know if he wants to play still, Math. I saw him in his tweet say, we'll see what the future holds. As for me, we'll see what happens. That could mean a lot of things. Sam to the Titans? I could see that. Part of me thinks that they're all going to go together. I can't shake the feeling. Like, you know, like Wheats like goes to like Boston or something, and then they just bring on all of those guys. I could see it, man. I could really see it. Or like Wheat as an assistant with Casares on Toronto. That's genius. Toronto has a lot of money, right? So you have Casares and Wheats as your coaches, and you bring just a bunch of American Tornado and former Shock guys that were like coached by Casares on your team. Woo! Most underrated player. I still feel like people didn't give enough credit to Merritt even as the season was ending. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, though. I think someone deserved more credit as well for the work he did. Checkmate. Shoot a Soul is a strong possibility, man. Lastro, yeah, definitely underrated. I think Shu to Soul would be sick. To try to hit GM before scrims tonight. All right, sounds good, Hogs. Take care. We're just hanging out. Just hanging out. Hot take. Yeah, that is a hot take. Charge top 2 APAC. That is most certainly a hot take. I mean, it depends on what happens with Shanghai. But like Spark could be really good. Like if the rumors come true, like if like let's say the Spark managed to get leave and they go Chinese and they have leave shy as their DPS, they're like instantly like top 2 category with Soul. I will say, though, Guangzhou's competition is kind of weak because Chengdu and Valiant aren't good. We don't know what's going to happen with Dragons, so maybe, I guess? No, I'm just streaming on Twitch, or, excuse me, totally, YouTube right now. And I primarily just stream on YouTube these days in general. Occasionally I'll do a Twitch stream, but that's only if I'm playing a game that has nothing to do with Overwatch. What do I think NYXL will do? I'm praying they get rid of their management, then go Western. But I don't even know how much money NYXL have to spend. That's another factor to think about. Hottest hot take for Defiance offseason. They don't keep a single Korean player. That's going to be my hot take for you. Where do I see Khan ending up at? Vancouver, maybe, or Boston. I think that all AL teams should have an academy team. Yes, on paper they should, but we all know they won't because it's not worth investing in that kind of thing. Keep or cut for Glad's players. I mean, keep Shu, keep Reiner. After that, I mean, it'd be cool to keep Skewed as well, but not completely necessary. No, I don't think so, Penguin. I think there's way too many players on the market for Aspen to get signed. From the looks of it, Hoppa still has a contract on the team. My assumption is they're either looking for a trade partner or they genuinely want to try making a team with him. I mean, to be fair, Hoppa played pretty decently this year, so maybe there is a trade candidate out there. Lots of teams always like Hoppa. Hoppa is just a constant in this league. We don't actually know, Angel. This is just we're theory crafting right now. My theory is Toronto will go Western. Because they only have 3 players on their team. They just signed a Western head coach. So it would make a lot of sense to just go Western. Or mixed, at least. Yeah, I was also pretty surprised when Twilight and Hisu were let go of. But at the same time, maybe it was their choice. People forget that. Like, I'm upset with Defiant for this happening, but it might not have been their choice. Hisu and Twilight behind the scenes might have been like, I hate this team, get me out of here, you know? Luigi, Spire, Sam, Speedily. I mean, yeah, that team would be sick. That team would be sick. I think Fury is washed. I wouldn't say washed, but just not really, that good anymore. Like, he's still a serviceable player, but I think it depends on the meta greatly for him to be effective. I really feel like Twilight to Soul is like the big play. What would you like to see to improve the OWL broadcast? I think they just benefit from being in live environments more. Where does Hoppa go to? Depends on if Define are trading him or if he's a free agent. It's tough to say. Yeah, I'd say that those are probably the 3 top places for Twilight, Houston, Solar, Glads. I can't really think of anyone else. I mean, if, like, Shanghai traded Izayaki, I guess. Like, Philly's another good one, though. Philly. Twilight to Philly. Could happen. Will Muse find a team? I could low-key see Muse going to Philly as well. Or, like, a low-key team like Boston, you know? Tank situation on Atlanta. I mean, currently they only have Hawk, but they like building around Hawk, so I think Atlanta are pretty satisfied with their tank situation. Is Chengdu still penniless? From the looks of it, yeah. I mean, what's... Chengdu are owned by Huya. I'm assuming Huya still isn't doing that well. Things... I don't think they're doing too hot still. Yeah, I mean, they're down -12 according to this. Not doing too good. Dallas. Dallas tends to have a lot of money. Pelican was leaving, I think he would have either said goodbye or posted LFT. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. He could be in the conversation of a trade. In that case, he would not be LFT. Houston would be weighing their options behind the scenes of where they could trade him. I'm not saying that is what's going to happen, but I think there's a chance. I think maybe going far in the playoffs with Houston could have changed his mind, but at the same time, Pelican might want to play with guys that he is, like, good friends with. He's good friends with Dante, but we all know that he wants to be with Piggy, so don't be surprised if something happens behind the scenes. Pelican being on 3 teams in 3 years is odd. Yeah, it's true, but if you're not happy, you're not happy. Houston traded away what made him happy, so... Well, traded / released. Yeah, I mean, Chorong and Finale are technically still under negotiations. I mean, I think that Kasoras probably would not mind keeping Chorong. I mean, that guy's got a lot of talent. I think London will get Sparker back. I don't see Sparker playing anywhere but in a London uniform. They'd have to fumble very hard or not have enough money for him. But, like, I'm sure Sparker would take at least a little bit of a pay cut to stay on London Spitfire. Unless he gets the bag somewhere else, right? Like, if someone just decided to offer Sparker a bag, very well could happen, but I don't think so. Gotta head to work now. I appreciate it, Bake. Appreciate it, man. Enjoy work. Justice still in talks with Decay and Kalios. Yeah, I don't expect those guys to stay, though. I can't shake the feeling the Justice are still going low budget. I mean, things change on the fly, of course. But, man. I'm at work listening. It's super slow. Nice. Love you too, King. King Gringo. Houston just trade away Pelican and use that money for Sparkle. Imagine. I mean, Khan's a good European flex support. Talking about London, but obviously they're not going to bring him back. No, I think my take is that at least one guy is not going to rejoin Dallas from the main core. Be it like a retirement or like someone going somewhere else because they want to play with a new team. I think at least one main guy from the core is going to leave. I think most of them will be back in a Dallas uniform, though. I think we see like some minor drops like Doha and Gurriel. But then I think there's going to be a big guy that they drop or like don't get, well, not drop, but they don't get back. So be it Sparkle, Fearless, Hanbin, Chio Fielder, I think one of them could leave. Han, Majed, or Skyripple, probably Majed. Girl's going to get the bag from Shanghai. I don't know if he'd go back to Shanghai. Stream Pokemon? Someday I might again. On Twitch. One of these days. That'd be a fun thing to do. Just vibe with some Pokemon while talking about Owl. I wouldn't do it on here, of course, but probably on Twitch. One person leaves. What's the worst case scenario for Dallas? The worst case scenario would be losing Hanbin, in my opinion. Why did Dallas get the top seed even though Shock did better at everything? That is a fantastic question. There's like some sort of reason behind it. Can't tell you what it is, though. My memory's failing me. Prefer for a Western team, Aspire Hydron? Probably Hydron. Yeah, that's true. Placements. I could also play Overwatch on stream again one of these days. Either grind support and try and get to Masters 3, or I could do placements on tank or DPS, which I'm leaning towards more. I think it'd be fun to do placements on one of my off roles. I think London might sign Shockwave. Look out for Shockwave. No, I don't think Rio has a place in the league. I think he needs to prove himself in contenders more. All total win percentage? Got ya. Maybe someday, Edgar. Decay to which team? There's a bunch of teams that Decay could go to. I'm going to rule out Gladiators and Fuel because he played for them already, but Shanghai, Philly, Seoul. There's plenty of teams Decay could go to. Like, Yaki's kind of in a similar situation. Most teams in the East, I think, could have a shot at him. I also think Yaki could head to, like, Atlanta Reign, Houston Outlaws if they don't keep Pelican for whatever reason. K to charge, I mean, we laugh at it, but it could actually happen. Oops. Decay was LFT for flex DPS, not for hit scan. I mean, knowing him, he'll probably still play anything anyway. You know, lots of flex DPS are good at hit scan. We've seen it before, so I'm sure Decay will play whatever comes his way. Junbin does not turn 18 until next year, so Vestola, yeah, to one of those lower teams, sure. Yeah, Decay can do literally just about anything. That's not a concern. Prefer Fleta to a mid-low placing team or he retires? I would rather see Fleta retire. I can't imagine Fleta anywhere but on top after playing on Shanghai the last few years. I'd hate to see him return to like a mediocre team like he had in 2018, let's say. I just can't imagine Fleta doing that. Yeah, Fleta I think is going to Valorant. I don't think anything's confirmed yet though. Mayhem. I mean, probably want to bring back Hydron. I would love to see Choi Hyobin come back. Please, oh please bring my boy back. No, there's no, like, actual info on Max going to Shock. It's just the assumption. I'm not sure, typical. We don't even know if Piggy's going to stay there. Mirror, if he does find a team, it'll be one of the worst teams. I hope Carpe kills it in Valorant. He probably won't, but I hope he does. I mean, Piggy to Shanghai actually could happen, like, unironically. Flexipore will take creative spawn on Outlaws. Twilight, maybe you could convince Shu. I mean, there's options. FRD posted contract. Yeah, it's probably just a meme, though. Yeah, Troy's in military service. We're saying once he comes back, it would be cool to see him. Defiant try to get Kai. I mean, if Kai's under contract with Atlanta still, so they trade for him. Yeah, if Shanghai, I mean, to be fair though, even though Shock have the academy team and these O2 guys can play with their former teammates, they might not all want to, like, especially because some of them might not be full-time starters, let's say, for example. So, like, he's saying even though it'd be cool to see him with Proper, he might realize he has a similar hero pool as him and then go to, like, Shanghai. Could you imagine he sang and Lip together? That's insane. I mean, I hope Carpe plays good in Valorant. But if he does play good, I want him to win something. No more second places, please. We talked about it earlier in stream. Dallas could be making big changes, but they might also not. Like, I think the way you interpret the tweet is up to you. Changes could just mean a couple things. I wonder why people aren't looking at Spectra. I'm sure people are, I promise you. Get to Defiant? Maybe. Random, super early hot take MVP for next year. I have no answer for you right now. It's too early. What happens to alexyOWL? It depends on what management does. If they keep the management the way it is, they'll probably go Korean again. But if they get rid of their management, like I'm hoping they do, they go Western. That's my opinion. Dallas tweet? Real quick, yeah. So Dallas could be seeking a number of changes. What that means could be up to you. Maybe that means they get rid of their bench players and one major guy, or maybe most of their team is gone. That's kind of how I interpret the tweet. I think at least one big guy from the championship core will be gone. Pick whatever it is, but that's my opinion. Anyway. The face of Overwatch League, it's proper and it's not close. I think Dallas are toying with ideas. I mean, in theory, yes. But again, because all their guys are free agents, it might not be up to them on who signs with them. Let's turn a light on, chat. It's dark in here. Body's definitely a big face, but I still think proper is the guy. This is the best story Overwatch Esports will ever produce. Yeah, it's true. No, I don't think Color Hex even sniffs the league. Hoxel to Houston? I don't know where Hoxel would go. It's tough to say. I think, again, New York, it depends on management. They have a Korean general manager, so I think that means they'd probably maybe go Korean. But they might drop that manager. He's been there for a while. I don't know, man. The face of the league, you need to be a personality. Not necessarily. Think of the comedic value if Color Hex comes back. I mean, yeah, I'd be laughing at whoever signed him. I haven't heard anything about Sato. Oof now. Alright, Thor. Sounds good, man. That big support you're saying Shock should get? Oh, Bliss? Maybe. Kind of my thought process, Nova. Yeah, remember, like, Hottie for the Chad things he does, but he wasn't up there on stage in the grand finals doing crazy things. Proper does the things that stick out in your mind. Dream Shanghai Dragons roster for next year. I think it'd be cool if they got, like, Yaki and Mag or something like that. That'd be pretty dope. That'd be pretty dope. I think Shock will promote Max. Yeah, that's what most people think. Do I like going to charge? Not likely, probably. Yeah, Super was the face, but he had the personality and the accomplishments. He was winning stuff and he was the personality. It's a little different. Any team you think is going to be a bottom team based on team money and utilities they have, Valiant and Chengdu are my big shouts right now for that. Valiant, Chengdu, and Eternal. I think those three have a solid chance of being bad. I like Sinatra back in the league? No, thank you. Houston, I don't really know. Titans going big with Bumper, Hoxel, and Twilight? Nah, definitely not. I think Dante stays on Houston for another year on tank. Hottie versus Bumper would be fun, but I mean, it depends on what kind of team Bumper would have around him. A placement would Valiant get in Contenders Korea? NA, because they don't have a team right now. What's your opinion on someone greater than Smurf? Oh, I mean, Smurf is obviously the better player. No, Spitfire are definitely not getting any Korean players. I don't know if Max can fill the main tank role. If I'm the Shock, I wouldn't be surprised if they get 2 tanks. I think could play Ramatra well. It's way too early to tell. Ah, yes, more tomfoolery by the Owl teams. I don't know what NYXL are going to do. That's the big issue. I don't know if they want to be Korean or Western, so I don't have an answer for you. I think it'd be sick to see a team sign Bumper, Hoxel, Twilight, and Slime. Yeah, no, it just won't happen. Jonak ain't coming back. His health still isn't good. I mean, I can't blame you, Jake. Hisu leaving is a tragedy, but clearly he wanted nothing to do with them anymore. That's at least my opinion. What role do you think stats play in discussion? I'm a big fan of stats, but I know not everybody else is. I think it tells you some things, but it's also not what you should completely base your judgments off of. I don't think Mayhem are going Korean. They still have RuPaul on the roster. And they've had issues with visas in the past and like being scared of that. So Florida are gonna have Western players still for sure, considering Goomba and McGravy are coaches for them. If they had a fully Korean team, they'd fire Goomba and McGravy. I mean, Hisu, I mean, after all he's gone through on Toronto, I can't blame him for leaving. He's carried all he can, but, like, not much results. Yeah, I mean, why would Super come back? He's enjoying himself streaming. Man is out here living his best life. A Predator deserves full-time starter. Considering we've never seen him on the Overwatch League stage, I don't really know. What's going on here? Anyway. Dream team consisting of free agents right now. I mean, I'm biased because there's just players that I really like. I don't know how to answer that properly. Probably like Hanbin, Birdring, Hoxel, Twilight, or no, Shu instead of Twilight, Shu, and then like Chio, I guess. Sure, we'll go with that. YOLO. Thoughts on Shockwave? I like the way he looks in contenders. I've heard some good things. I think he could find his way back into the league. Do I think Jerry has a shot? With all the competition at his role, no. I think Krusty is the GOAT coach. Yes, I do. Yeah, Jerry would have to have an unreal tryout. Yeah, I mean, Chengdu also have money issues, though. It's tough. I think Xe can most certainly still be good. Absolutely. He has so much skill. And he did show flashes on Mayhem. It's just Hydron was the better option for them at the time. I wouldn't say like a high-level team's going to go after him, but some of these mid to low, they're all going to have their eyes on Xe and at least give him a shot, I'd say. All right, Nova, sounds good. Trying to think, is there anything else I want to bring up with teams? I feel like we've mostly covered everybody. Most likely player to become a coach? Oh, jeez. I think Outlaws need to sign a tank, or they need to sign at least one more tank. Dante's not enough. I covered the Dallas stuff, talked about Shock, my fears for Gladiators, Houston and how they should get another tank player. Try and keep Pelican if you can. Make some nice upgrades at support. Rain, I want to see them at least get some of their guys back from last year, if possible. I think UVOG for another year would be nice at the bare minimum. London, you just want to get Sparker back and then maybe sign like Shockwave, and you're in a pretty good spot. Maybe another support. Yeah, Outlaws getting Reiner Kaluj would be pretty massive. What do you think was the problem in Paris Eternal when they had the field core? Main tank, kind of. I mean, I like Ben Best, but he wasn't elite by any means. How long ago did I talk about Glads? I've talked about them a couple times today. I'm scared for their future since all their guys are free agents and could technically leave. Florida Mayhem, I mean, I think ideally they'd want to get like maybe a English speaking main support. Well, English is the primary language instead of, you know, get rid of Animo and then you move on to someone that's more of a leadership figure. That'd be nice. Defiant, I'm very confused about them now that they have Casores as their coach. I don't know what he's thinking over there. I don't know if he wants to go Western, if he wants to go mixed. My bet is Western, and the theory is that they trade their other Korean players, but I don't really know. Washington or Washington, I feel like my opinion on them changes by the day. They're technically still in negotiations with the players they have, but I'm not going to be surprised if they go Western and get rid of all of their guys. Boston, they always seem like a good shot of being a mixed team. I think there's a lot of potential for them to like sign a big name coach and then therefore have a lot of big name players follow him. I think Boston's honestly in decent shape. You maybe bring back like Punk and Crimzo. Sign DPay as your coach maybe. There's a lot of potential for Boston. Vancouver Titans, also a ton of potential if they get the right head coach. I could see them getting an American Tornado core. Maybe. Same with Boston. NYXL, if they get rid of their Korean manager, they go Western. If they keep him, they might go with like a low-budget Korean team. Again, which I hope they don't do. I think they need major changes. Paris are going to stay how they are, basically, with just a couple new faces. That's already confirmed. Seoul, I like Iris, but try and do better at flex support. Twilight and Shu are on the market. If you could get one of those guys, that would be freaking massive. have Profit recruit them like how he did with Smurf, and you are in business over there. And then maybe hit scan, maybe make a move. I like Fitz, but you could maybe do a little better. If you could like get one of the best players in the entire world at hit scan, then that'd be nice. Shanghai, I'm hoping they bring back Lei Jae Gon and Izayaki. Because they technically have team options. I don't think they're accepted yet, but you want those guys back with Lip. That'd be a good starting point. You go a lot of different places at Flex DPS. I'm sure Shanghai are definitely looking out for the young guys. They can maybe snag Heesang away from Shock somehow, some way. That's like the dream, I guess. Yaki's available amongst others. Philly Fusion. Ideally, again, kind of like with Soul, get one of the biggest supports on the market. If they could get major firepower at Flex support, I think that would kind of increase the interest for a lot of other teams. Or a lot of other players to sign with Philly. Like if Shu or Twilight said, yeah, I'm going to Philly, I think like a big name tank would want to follow him there. I think Philly could be in really good shape if they just get one like superstar player. That's all they need. And that'll get the ball rolling, so to speak. Hangzhou Spark, the rumor is right now they will maybe be signing former Chengdu Hunters coach RUI. And if that happens, don't be surprised if Spark go fully Korean. Or Korean, God. Fully Chinese, excuse me, chat. There's a world where Alpha Yi and Irony end up getting dropped or permabenched for the year, whatever it might be. And in return, maybe they get Leave to come to the team. Leave likes RUI. Maybe, because Chengdu don't have any money, you send over Leave to Hangzhou Spark. Spark have money. You have Shine Leave as your DPS line, and you're insane. Maybe keep Gushui too. Finally, I could see Leave and Gushui play on the same team again. I don't remember if they played in World Cup together. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did. I think they did. Yeah. Thoughts on Max Heesang to Eternal or Valiant? Definitely not. They have to be accepted since the date was 11th. They haven't been LFT. I mean, we say that, but Shanghai might not have made their announcements officially yet, so we don't know. Guangzhou Charge are in a very interesting situation. I'd love for them to keep their core. I think there is a ton of potential if Guangzhou Charge can like keep Piggy, and if they can keep Xerneas, maybe upgrade Flex support. Keep Choice A1 on there. If you don't upgrade there, you can get another hit scan aside from like Jimmy. You could keep Jimmy Aprita if you want to, but you might be able to do better. Chengdu, I think, are probably, in my opinion at least, going budget mode. They're kind of a mess within their org. They don't have it. They're probably going to crumble. And Valiant, they'll probably be bad still. Pelican staying? He might stay on Houston. I don't see why not. I guess where Sparker's going? I think he stays with London. I think he'll resign. Where do I get my news and info? Twitter. People like Halo, I know he doesn't have the best reputation, but Halo tends to provide a lot of good leaks. And then Yiska sometimes provides information as well. So I definitely recommend following Yiska and Halo, amongst a couple of others. Will I ever do an Overwatch 2 stream again? Absolutely. Maybe I'll do one later this week or something. We'll see how things go. We'll see how I do progress-wise with some videos. I've been very busy. I wanted to fit in a stream, though, before the big storm of signings come very soon. Just to talk about and speculate with you guys. No, I don't think FD got as bad as people are saying. I think Shock was just a poor fit. Yeah, I'll probably do some tank or DPS placements one of these days. Or not DPS placements, I'm placed on ranking up on DPS. Thoughts on Mike when he's posting Overwatch content? Very useful, very, very useful resource to the community. What videos am I planning? I'll have an off-season recap up tomorrow, most likely. And then from there, I'm going to put a lot of focus into the best player on every hero video, which has somewhat been in production. I've been starting the script. I picked a player officially for each hero, and now it's just a matter of recording all of the gameplay I need, which is like a pain in the neck. And then also writing the script and recording and editing. It takes a long process. Those videos are just crazy. They take forever. I think Moth would get a team if he came back. I mean, if a title contender wanted him, yes. I don't think Moth wants to play on a weak team, though. Teams could I imagine switching to the Eastern region? It's really hard because most of them just won't. I don't know if any of these teams would ever go East. Most of them are stationed in the West and they would not move. Like, there's no way a Shock or a Glads or a Dallas would move. Houston, no shot. Atlanta, no. London's not going to happen. Florida, definitely not. They have a facility. Toronto have a facility. Washington have a facility. Boston have a facility. Like, they'll have good headquarters. We're screwed over. We need everyone to be in the same place again. I joined late. What's up with Toronto? They're dropping back to back. It's looking like a new core yet again, sadly. I think Nero gets some hate that's warranted, but most of the time it's unwarranted. How am I doing? I'm doing great. Vancouver did for a week. Pepe left. And now they'll never go back there again because of the drama. Nero's fine. Everyone in the same place will screw over Owl because of the big Asian community. I mean, yeah, it's true. But a man can dream. Man can dream. Maybe after a couple of days worth of work, I'll do another stream. I think it would be really, really fun to do a stream like this, but like as news is potentially dropping so we can react to bombshells potentially. Like, I don't know how many people will get signed on the first day of free agency, if any at all. But I might just do a stream just in case on that day. This is full time right now. NYXL could go back to APAC, I guess. But yeah, if there's a lot of nutty stuff going on, it would be fun. News will start Monday. No, before then, actually. Because free agency, I mean, it kicks off the 19th. 19th is the day where negotiations begin, but negotiations and announcements can both happen in the same day. I mean, technically, teams are allowed to talk to whoever they want right now. You know, they can make their pitches. They just can't offer a contract. Free agency is November 19th. Can teams not sign their own players until then? No, they can re-sign their players if they want to. They still have a few days to try to. It's just probably not going to happen. Everyone wants to test the open market. Do you see your YouTube becoming the main thing? Any future hopes? I mean, I'd love for it to continue to be a thing, you know, have multiple successful channels, but we'll see where the future takes me there. Yeah, there's going to be lots and lots of free agents. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say if anything's going to happen on the 19th. I kind of want to do a stream, but at the same time, I don't know if I'll actually news. Be a fun thing to do. At least speculate more like we did today, at the very least. If not, I could just play ranked or something, I guess. We'll see. What teams are absolutely boomed? Chengdu, Eternal, and Valiant. Sam, I think there's a bunch of Western teams he could go to. Box on bumper and contenders. Unless they get an owl, I don't think they're going to play. Personally. Unless they really are that motivated to prove themselves again. They definitely could, Midori, but will they? We shall see. Two-season turnaround? Yeah, that might sound right. Yeah, I'm sure some teams are going to be looking for trades. Again, maybe Pelicans on the market. I don't know what's going on over there. A Pelican trade could happen. Maybe a Toronto player like Chorong could get bought out or traded. Decay, maybe. You know, he's in negotiations with Washington. I don't know what'll happen there. Erster, I don't know, considering he's a tank player now. But Gargoyle, maybe. But yeah, that's kind of my rundown of all the teams, though, for now and where we're at. Doesn't look like we're getting any other news for now. Owl teams have been quiet. I don't really see anything happening. We've talked about all the big things today. So I think I'm just about ready to wrap up for the stream then. I don't really have anything else for you guys today. I guess I'll just leave it at I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed the discussions. I hope the stream wasn't too scuffed and you all had a good time. I tried to answer as many questions as humanly possible. Not always the easiest thing to do, but I had fun talking to you guys, and I definitely want to do more of these throughout the off season. I don't know if it'll be a weekly thing, but I want it to be a thing that I do somewhat frequently. So definitely stay tuned for more streams like this, as well as some other. I want to stream more regularly, especially after I finish Best Player on Every Hero. That's going to take up a lot of time, but once that's done, streams will happen a lot more on the regular, I'd say. Hope you guys enjoyed your time, though. Stay tuned. There will be more, and I hope you have a good rest of your night. Peace out, guys.